A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Jane Ace got a good job for her boy singer whom she discovered in an orphanage. He sings now on the radio, sponsored by a chain of shoe stores. Our scene now is the Aces' bungalow about a week later. It's after dinner, and we find Jane, Mr. Ace, and their friend Marge sitting around the living room. Jane is reading a letter she has received from her protege. Listen.
And today I received my first check, $100. You can't imagine how thrilled I was. Yes, I can. I can only say I thank you. You're welcome. You will never know how grateful I am. Oh, yes, I will. I almost cried with joy. You did. But the first thing
Jane, would you mind just reading that without that editorial comment?
Beg pardon?
If you're going to read the letter, just read it without all that you did. I will.
Oh, let her finish it.
Oh, I wish you
Go on, Jane.
What does he mean?
Those little comments you're putting in there, they are a little distracting. Like when he says he thanks you and you add, you're welcome.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I didn't notice it. Did I say
Well,
that?
we did, so if you want to finish the letter, just read it without all that. That is, if you want us to understand it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I won't do it anymore.
Oh, thanks, Jane.
You're welcome, dear.
Now, there you go again.
Jane. He almost cried with joy.
He did.
Now, do you see what you mean? Well, let the rest of it go. We get the general idea. He's doing all right. We don't have to hear the details.
Oh, no, now, wait. I'm almost finished. Where was I? Oh, yes. But the first thing I thought of when I saw the check was my debt to you. So I enclosed the $40 you paid for my suit and overcoat.
He what?
Jane, did he actually send that money?
Money?
He says he's sending back the $40 we spent on him. Is it there?
Well, where's the envelope?
Oh, here it is.
What?
What do you want with it?
Let me see that. Yes, here are two $20 bills.
Well,
Oh, I didn't see that. Look, dear.
well, how do you like that? I didn't want him to send that money back to
Well,
us.
he said he was going to when Jane bought him the clothes.
Oh.
Well, what do you think of that, dear? Look, 2 autographed pictures of Andrew Jackson.
But I don't want autographed pictures of Andrew Jackson.
Yes, he should have sent a picture of himself, like all radio
I don't want
stars.
anything from him, Jane. I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad we were able to give him a start. I don't want that money.
Oh, well, thanks, dear.
Thanks for what?
Are you going to keep it, Jane?
Yes,
Oh,
he
now.
doesn't want it, and I can't send it back to Peru, so what'll he think? Besides, I can use it around the house. I need a few little odds and evens I've been thinking of buying anyway.
Oh, mister, you talked yourself out of that $40.
But the boy's going to need that money. He's still studying
I
boy.
think Jane's right. He will feel bad if we send it back to him.
Oh, I know he will.
Is that all there is to the letter, Jane?
Oh, no, for my suits and overcoat. My other debt I can never repay you. I wonder why. Words can never express how I feel. Oh, that's why. Your reward will be in heaven, or vice versa.
Vice versa.
Now, isn't that a sweet letter?
It certainly is, Jane, and it must make you feel pretty good to have done such a good turn.
Oh, it was nothing more.
Oh, yes, it was. You gave that boy a chance to make something of himself.
Oh, it was nothing
If it
more.
hadn't been for you, he'd still be in that orphanage.
Oh, it was nothing
All
more.
right, it was nothing, Jane.
Oh, I don't know. I gave that boy a chance to make something of
Oh,
himself.
it was nothing.
Well, if it hadn't been for me, wouldn't he still be in that orphanage?
Oh, it was nothing.
Oh, I don't
All
know.
right, now you two. Enough of that. The fact remains the boy is doing well and he's grateful. Grateful enough, at least, to pay back some of the money you advanced.
Oh, well, dear.
What's that?
I'll split it with you. You take this one and I'll take this one.
Oh, I don't want it.
No, we're partners in this. We'll go 20-20 on it.
Oh, we'll go 20-20. Well, okay, if you insist.
She took it. How do you like that?
Well, you insisted that I take it. I didn't
Oh,
want
all right, dear. Keep it then.
it. Isn't this awful? Didn't she
All
say?
right, dear. I said keep it.
All right.
Well, that's that.
Yes, that's that. Now what?
Now what?
Yes. What next?
What do you mean, what next?
What am I going to do next?
I've often wondered.
Yes.
Do you have to do something?
Well, I can't just sit around here twiddling my thumbs.
Why can't you sit around here toddling your thumbs? It's good exercise for the thumbs.
My thumbs don't need exercise. I want to do something.
Something you can put your fingers into.
Oh, leave my thumbs out of it.
I wish you would.
She wants to lend a hand to somebody, don't you, Jane?
Yeah.
Mark, are you going to start about my thumbs, too?
No, Jane, I was only
Oh,
kidding.
you two don't understand. Because it's easy enough for you. You both go away in the morning to your offices and you meet people and talk to people. Things going on, and you don't come back till dinner. What have I got? Laura. And getting dinner. Same thing day after day.
Oh, I see what you mean. If you rest, you rust. Is that it?
Oh?
If you rest, you rust. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's cute. If I rest, I rust. That's what I mean. Yes,
Oh,
dear.
you had to
See?
give her something new now.
Well,
didn't you?
that's what she means. She wants action.
Well, what does she want from me? How do other women manage to spend their days? They don't get into the messes she gets into.
No, they play bridge. Do you want me to stop playing
No, Jane. No, not that, please.
Well, what then?
I don't know, Jane, but anything but that, please.
But I must do something.
Oh, you must.
Yes, I must. Like Mark says, if I must, I must.
No, Jane, that's not what I said.
Well, how was that again, Mark?
If you rest, you rust.
Yes, if I rest, I rust. That means if
I
I
know
don't...
what it means, Jane, but I still don't know what you can do.
Oh, there's somebody at the door. I'll go, dear.
Well, this may be the answer to your prayer, Jane.
Wonder who this is. Are you expecting anybody, Morris?
No, not that I know of.
Why, Betty.
Did she say Betty?
Whoa. Betty, when did you get back? Where's Carl? Is that a mink coat? Dear, it's Betty with a mink coat.
Well, here comes the bride.
Hello, Maud. Look, dear. Oh, Betty, I didn't kiss
Hello,
you.
Betty. When did you get back from your honeymoon?
Just now.
Oh, where's your husband?
Is that a mink coat, Betty? It is, isn't it?
Yes, Aunt Jane, it is.
I thought it was. Look, dear, and a mink hat to match. Betty, you look marvelous. You look positively stunned. Doesn't she look marvelous? Oh, Betty, I haven't kissed you
Jane, will
yet.
you please stop pawing her long
Well,
enough to
she's
get...
my niece, and she just got back from her honeymoon. I can't help it if I'm excited, can I?
Well, how are you, Betty?
Personally, I was never better in my life.
Where's
Well,
Carl?
take it off, Betty. Let me try it on.
Try it on. You can have it.
Have it?
Betty, what are you talking about?
I said she can have it.
Oh, stop joking. Take it off, Betty. Isn't it beautiful? It's real mink, isn't it? Oh, that's a silly question to ask. I can tell it is. Here, I'll help you.
I can manage, Aunt Jane.
Betty, how's everything coming along?
Wonderful. Now,
Well, what does that mean?
There, how does that look, dear?
What?
How do I look? Here I am. You didn't even know me. Do I look like I just stepped out of a bandwagon or not? Oh, Betty, this is so warm and soft. How much did it cost? I mean, aren't you the lucky girl?
yes, aren't I?
Are you? I'll say the world you are. I know girls that would give their right name to have a coat like this. Can I try on the hat, Betty?
Yes, you can have that, too.
Have it? Oh, stop joking, Betty.
Yes.
Betty, don't you think you ought to say something?
About what?
About anything you care to talk about. What's on your mind?
Oh, don't worry about what's on her mind. Look what's on mine. Do you wear it down like this over this eye? Is that it, Betty? How's that like?
Jane, will you please stop parading around here?
Did you bring any luggage with you?
I did not.
Where did you just come from?
From the station. I just got into town.
Well, you must have had luggage. Where is it?
I don't know, and don't ask me so many questions.
What? Well, why don't you say something then? What are you walking up and down like that for? What happened?
Is my room still here?
Your
What?
room?
Yes, we didn't move it out. It's still part of the house, if that's
What do you mean, is your room still here?
Well, where's Carl, Betty? I forgot all about him.
You're lucky.
I'm lucky. Well, you don't see me with any mink coats and hats to match. You're the lucky one. I bet you must have had a marvelous trip. Where's Carl?
He's not with me, is he?
No, but he must have been. I never heard of a honeymoon trip without a husband.
The honeymoon's over.
Yes, I know.
Jane,
but
will you please let us say something here?
I think she'd better say something. Now sit down, Betty.
I have nothing to say, and I don't want to sit down, and will all of you please stop staring at me?
Yes, what are you all staring at her for? She's a bride. You're going to make the bride blush. Oh, I had a letter from your mother last week, Betty. She said you were so happy when you brought Carl over to the house.
That was last week.
Yes, last week. I said last week. Your mother wrote me that you didn't stay very long because you and Carl wanted to go on some kind of a trip. Did you take that boat trip you were telling me you were going to take?
We did.
Don't tell me the ship you launched on the stormy seas of matrimony has hit a sandbar.
Yes, it did. I'm not sending out any SOS messages.
But it did hit a sandbar.
It did. Betty, did you get seasick?
No,
Oh.
Aunt Jane.
But he said the boat
It seems to me that the captain's deserted the ship.
Or are you the captain?
What do you think?
No,
What?
it sounds like mutiny.
You all of you stop picking on me. I can't stand it.
Yeah, what's the matter with you two? Can't you see she doesn't want to talk about it? It makes her seasick. Oh, what I'd give to take a boat trip. I'm so homesick.
Homesick?
Yes, I'm sick of home. I'd like to go someplace
Sick
like
of-
Betty did.
Oh.
You're welcome to it, Aunt Jane.
Well, thanks. Your mother wrote me that they were just crazy about Carl.
They were.
Oh, yes, especially your father. Wasn't that funny, the way he and Carl played pinochle and Carl lost $30?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's lovely when a son-in-law gets along so nice with his outlaws. Where is Carl? I bet he must be crazy about you in this mink coat and hat.
I'll bet.
How does it look on me, dear?
If you could get a muzzle, a match, you'd have something.
Now, look, Betty, you're not just going to stand there and not say anything, are you?
I'm tired. I've been on the train all day. I want to go to bed and rest and try to get some sleep.
But you can't just walk in here like this.
Okay, Ace. That'll be enough for tonight. She's right. She is tired. Come on, Betty. I'll take you to your room.
You don't have to. I know the way.
To her room?
We're not asking any more questions tonight, Jane.
Yes, so what did you do to
Come
her
on,
room?
Betty. You're not going to be grilled any more tonight.
Thanks, Maud.
Oh, well, your coat, Betty. You forgot your coat.
Never mind, Aunt Jane.
Well, I'm hanging up here for you then, Betty.
Good night.
Can you find everything that you'll need?
Yes, Jane, I'll find it.
Well,
Dear,
what?
you know what I think? He and Carl had a fight.
No.
I'll bet they did.
No.
Well, honestly, sometimes you're as innocent as the new mown hay. I'll bet $1 million they had a fight.
No bet.
He can't pull the bull over my eyes. Yes.
Well, if Jane was looking for something to keep her mind occupied, she has it now. We won't take that bet either, but we learn the details of the sudden ending of Betty's and Carl's honeymoon when next we meet the Easy Ace.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet, brought to you by Chesterfield. For the taste you want, the mildness you want, a really refreshing smoke. Buy America's most popular two-way cigarette. Chesterfield. They satisfy millions.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. You get a call that a woman has been badly beaten. She can't describe her assailant. He's still at large. Your job? Find him. For the taste you want, the mildness you want, for a really refreshing smoke every time, you should change to Chesterfield. On every count, they satisfy millions. They'll satisfy you. Chesterfield is the cigarette proved highest in quality, low in nicotine. The cigarette tested and approved by 30 years of scientific tobacco research. The cigarette with the taste and mildness you want. Yes, the Chesterfield you smoke today is the best cigarette ever made. Best for you. It all adds up to Chesterfield's world-famous slogan. They satisfy. Regular or king size. Try Chesterfield today.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, January 14th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 11:47 p.m. when we got to 7982 Oakwood Avenue. Front door.
What is it?
Police officers. We'd like to see Miss Griffin.
How do I know?
Beg pardon?
How do I know you're cops?
Here's our identification.
Hand it here.
Pardon?
Pass it through the door. I want to see it good.
All right, here you are.
Yeah.
What do you think? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Hurry up. Don't let all the rain in.
Yes, ma'am. And if I have my identification back, please.
Take your coats off right here. I don't want you tracking water through the house.
All right, could I have that identification card?
You don't
please?
mind my being so careful about what's happened here. I've got to take all precautions, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on into the sitting room.
I'll take that card. Thank
Which
you.
one of you is Sergeant Friday?
I am.
You're the one who called.
That's right.
Who's he?
This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Uh-huh. Well, sit down. Here's your card.
Thank you.
Get you anything? Cup of coffee? Maybe some hot cocoa?
No, thank you.
Well, suit yourself. What is it you want?
We understand you know Mrs. Kieran.
We're neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can tell us what happened here tonight.
Seems like you'd have the story, being cops and all.
Well, we'd like to hear you tell it, ma'am.
All right. I was here tonight watching the TV, just gone out to the kitchen to get a plate of snacks for the late show. You know, kind of like to munch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of a sudden I heard this scream real loud. I wasn't watching the television right then, so at first I thought it was from the set, you know, like a drama.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't think nothing about it right then. Got myself all settled for the movie, and then I heard another scream. That's when I knew there was something wrong.
How's that?
There was a quiz on the television. No reason for any screams. Right then there was another one. Then I knew it was from next door.
Yeah.
So I got my coat and umbrella and went over there.
I see.
Knocked on the door, but didn't get no answer. Well, I went into the house, all dark, not a light on. Went right in and called to Mrs. Kieran, called to her.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't answer, but I could kind of hear something off to the back of the place.
Uh-huh.
Sounded like somebody crying, kind of like a whimper, soft.
Yeah.
It came from the back of the house in the bedroom.
You didn't see anybody else in the house when you went in, did you?
If I had, I'd have told you before this.
Go ahead, please.
I got to the bedroom and opened the door. Couldn't see anything at first.
Uh-huh.
Then I was about to go on in, and this man jumped out at me.
He was in the bedroom, was he?
Yeah, must have been hiding in the dark and heard me coming, and he got back so I wouldn't see him. Then when I opened the door, he jumped right out, almost scared me to death.
Well, what did he do?
He just jumped at me and ran out of the house. Right through the front door, I heard it slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard the crying again. It was sort of off to one side of the room. I couldn't see right away where it was coming from.
Uh-huh.
I turned on the light, and right away I saw her. She was laying on the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it was just terrible. Room was all tore up. Things all thrown around, a real mess, and her laying right there in the middle of it, all beat up. Looked like whoever done it had tried to kill her.
What'd you do then?
Called the police. Dialed told the operator to send a policeman. It wasn't long before they was here. It seemed like there was 100 of them all over the place.
All right, Mrs. Griffin. I wonder if you can give us a description of the man you saw.
Other officers asked me the same thing. There isn't much I can tell you. Just all of a sudden he was there, and then he was gone.
You're pretty sure it was a man, though, huh?
Certainly, I guess I know a man when I see one. Been married to one for 22 years.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us anything about him?
I just got a glimpse of him, not good. I can't tell you anything about how he looked. He was standing in the dark when I come in. Next thing I knew, he jumped past me and went out the front door.
Yes, ma'am. Would you know him again if you saw him?
I don't think so. Just a glimpse, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Should like to help. There isn't much more I can tell you.
All right, ma'am.
How is Mrs. Kieran? She going to be okay?
Well, she'll be in the hospital for a few days, but she's going to be all right.
Isn't she able to tell you something about the man who did this?
No, ma'am.
Seems like she'd be able to describe him. Must have been there for a good half hour.
How do you figure that?
Must have been at least that long from the time I heard the first scream till I got over there. First off, I didn't think it was real. Thought it was on television.
Yes, ma'am, you told us.
Must have been a half hour.
Mm-hmm. Now, did Mrs. Kieran have any enemies that you knew of?
Well, there's some people who didn't like her. A couple right here in the neighborhood, but none of them that would do a thing like this.
How'd she and her husband seem to get along?
Well, you mean, did they have any fights?
Yes, that's right.
All the time. Seemed like they was always battling about something.
Would you know what caused the arguments?
Oh, mostly about her, another man. He thought she was running around on him. He used to fight about it. A couple of times he said if she didn't stop, he's going to kill her.
Was that true?
You mean about her and the man?
Yes.
Well, it might have been. For all I know, I didn't pay much mind to their troubles. Seems like I had too many things to keep me busy without getting mixed up in their problems.
All right, Miss Griffin, we'll leave our card with you. If you remember anything you think we'd be interested in, we'd appreciate a call from you.
And if I think of anything, you get one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Don't it seem kind of funny to you?
Well, what's that?
How Mrs. Kieran can't tell you anything about the fella? Don't that strike you kind of odd?
How do you mean?
Well, if somebody is in my house for that long, I'd be able to tell something about him. Something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I guess with the lights off, maybe she couldn't see. And then again,
Yes, ma'am?
maybe she don't want to tell you.
Frank and I drove back to the office and put in a call to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. We talked to Dr. Sebastian and found that the victim had recovered to the point where she could be moved to her own hospital. We also talked with the officers who were with her. They told us that the woman hadn't given them any new information and they still hadn't been able to contact her husband. While I checked the crime lab, Frank went down the hall and ran the names Irene and Tom Kieran through R&I. 2:14 a.m. We met back in the squad room.
How'd it go in the crime lab?
Oh, I got it all here. You want to take a look?
Yeah.
Beginning to look like we got a good case against the husband.
Yeah?
Well, here. Here's a picture of the room. The woman was found about here. See?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the way the stuff's scattered all around the place, all through here.
Yeah. It looks like robbery.
Well, he wanted it to look that way, maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, in the dresser drawer here, the boys from the crime lab found $120 in cash. All the thief had to do was open the drawer, and he'd have seen it, too.
Oh. Well, how about the entrance?
It's something else that doesn't seem to gel. They checked all the windows and doors. There's no sign of any breaking. She must have opened the door for the thief.
Well, that means it was somebody Mrs. Kiernan knew, huh?
Yeah, it kind of looks that way.
Anything else we can use?
Well, take a look here. Here's a picture of a footprint Lee Jones found in the earth beside the path. The way it looks, the thief left the path when he ran from the house and stepped in the soft dirt.
Do us any good?
No, not much. The ground was wet. Must have been a good impression, but the rain broke down the walls. It's not much good to us now.
That's it, huh?
Yeah? Leighton Prince didn't come up with anything. How'd you do?
Well, nothing on the woman. Husband's got an arrest record.
Yeah.
Got it right here. Mrs. Kieran had him pinched 18 months ago on a beating charge. Refused to prosecute. Same thing a year ago. And here, besides her complaints, he's been booked for ADW and suspicion 211.
Done any big time?
No, never drew a conviction. Now, Joe, the thing I don't understand, if it was her husband, why doesn't she beef him? She wasn't worried about having him arrested before.
I don't know.
There's something wrong about it.
Well, there's got to be an answer someplace. You tagged the stats office?
Yeah, I gave him what we had on the guy. They're going to start a run on the MO in the morning. Better get the rest of this information down to him.
Yeah, we can drop it off on the way out, huh?
Right.
So you got that list of the husband's friends?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's talk to them. Maybe they can tell us where he is.
Okay.
Hot shot. I'll get it.
What is it?
Stats office is going to have to wait, I guess.
Huh?
1824 Studio Court.
Well, that's a couple of blocks from Kieran's. What's the call?
Woman slugged. We left the office and we drove over to the address code 3. It was a small house set well back on the lot. When we got there, a felony car out of Hollywood Division had already arrived and the crime lab had been called. The victim was identified as a Mrs. Milo Hudson, age 42. An ambulance was dispatched from Hollywood Receiving Hospital and she was given first aid. She'd been beaten about the head and shoulders. As soon as the attendants had finished, Frank and I talked to her.
If you'll just tell us what happened, please.
Awful thing. Most awful thing ever happened to me.
Yes, ma'am. Did you get a good look at the man?
Pretty good. Not real good, but I did see him.
Could you describe him for us?
How do you mean?
Well, how tall was he?
I guess about as tall as you.
Be about 5'11"?
If that's how tall you are.
Yes, ma'am. How about his weight? Was he heavy or light?
About like him.
That'd be about 180, huh?
I guess so. I don't know, but I guess that's about what it is.
What about his face? Did you see that?
Yes, sir. Got a good look.
You'd know him again if you saw him, would you?
I certainly would. Never forget that face. Not if I live to be 100, I'll never forget it.
Now, could you give us a good description of him?
Had dark hair, almost black, kind of curly. Little wave right here in front.
Mm-hmm.
Had blue eyes. Dark blue, might have been kind of hazel color. Dark.
Mm-hmm. Was he clean shaven?
You mean, did he have a mustache?
Yes, ma'am.
No, didn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything about him that might make it easier for us to identify him?
I don't think I know what you mean.
Well, did he have any scars, any birthmarks, anything like that?
Let me think. Seems there was something, but I can't remember what.
This man say anything to you?
Not at first. When he came in, he didn't say a word, just pointed the gun at me and motioned back into the house, like he wanted me to get back there.
Uh-huh, but he did say something to you later, is that right?
Yes. When we got to the bedroom and he started to go through the place, I told him he better get out because my husband would be coming in any minute.
I see.
He smiled and said he knew George didn't get home till 4:30.
He used your husband's name, did he?
Yes. Come to think of it, he did. I didn't pay much attention to it before, but he did.
Do you think you ever saw that man before?
Not that I remember.
But you're sure you'd know him if you saw him again?
I sure would. See, I remember what it was about him.
Yes?
You know, you wanted something about him that'd make it easier to tell if he was the right man.
That's right.
He had a scar. Small one right here, by his eye. Made it look like his left eye was real big. Gave him a funny look.
Mm-hmm.
That what you meant?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you'd come down to City Hall and go through some pictures for us.
Well, I want to do everything I can to help. I'm supposed to check with my doctor. If he says it's all right, I'll be there. When would you want me?
Well, if you could make it in the morning.
If the doctor says it's all right, I'll be there.
Okay, thanks, Mrs. Hudson.
We can send a car for you if you like.
Might be better if you did. George likes to sleep late and I don't drive.
All right, ma'am. We'll call you in the morning.
Sure hope you can catch the person who's done this. Lord knows how many more people he's going to hurt.
Yes, ma'am.
Just seems to know all about people. When they're going to be alone and all, seems to know all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Knew right where everything in this house was all the way. Knew right down to a T.
You're sure you never saw him before, is that right?
Positive. You don't forget that kind of face. See it once and you remember it all your life.
Was there been anybody new in the neighborhood?
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, like any salesman, door-to-door canvassers, anything like that.
Residential neighborhood like this, there's always somebody around trying to sell something. Must be a couple of people a day come to the door. But I'm sure the man who hit me wasn't one of them.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Not at all, Sergeant. I want to do all I can to help you get him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea who he is, where to find him?
Not very much, Miss Hudson.
Terrible to think about it. A man like that roaming the streets. Woman isn't safe in her own home anymore.
We'll get to him, ma'am.
I should hope so. But what do we do in the meantime? Just sit here and wait for this lunatic to kick the doors down?
Well, we'll do everything we can.
Awful. I'll never forget how he came in here, shoved me around. Just never forget it.
Well, it makes you even.
What?
He won't either. We got out a supplemental broadcast carrying the description of the suspect, and then we continued to talk to the latest victim. She was unable to come up with any additional information. 4:30 a.m. The crew from the crime lab finished up their investigation, and Frank and I went back to the office. We left the description of the suspect at the stats office, and we asked R&I to check the oddity file for a possible identification on the scar that the suspect had. 5:21 a.m. We signed out of the office. The next day at 9:26 a.m., we met with Chief Brown and Captain Donahoe, and we went over the case with them. Because of the method of operation used, it became apparent that the thief was acquainted with the habits of the people in the neighborhood. 2 additional teams of men were assigned to the case, and they began to canvass the area for information on people who appeared to be loitering in the vicinity. It was also decided to assign 3 more police units to patrol the streets during the night hours. We checked all FI cards that had been filed in the area. That afternoon, Milo Hudson came down to the office and went through the mug books, but she was unable to make an identification. She was shown pictures of Tom Kieran, the husband of the first victim, but she stated positively that he was not the man who'd beaten her. The list of possibles came back from the stats office and was checked without result. A week went by. In spite of the additional men involved, the suspect hit 3 more times. In each case, the M.O. was the same. In each case, he escaped. However, we were able to get a little more information on him. We had the artist in Crime Analysis Division draw up a composite picture of the suspect, and we had it distributed to all officers in the city. The daily papers ran it on their front pages. Thursday, January 24th, 5:20 p.m. Frank and I got back to the office from dinner.
I want to call Faye and tell her it looks like a late night.
All right, I'll check the book.
Anything?
No. You call her from Pinky.
Yeah?
He and Leitner talked to that magazine salesman.
Check out?
No. The guy just got in town a couple of days ago. Description's pretty far off.
Oh.
I got it. Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am, that's right. Mm-hmm. Well, we can take it. All right. What's that address again? Yes, that's Studio Court. Yes, ma'am, we'll be right out. No, don't do anything. If he wants to leave, don't try to stop him. That's right, we'll be right there. Woman out on Studio Court.
Yeah.
Says she thinks the suspect's in her house now.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Meet the Tom Harmons. You know Tom as Michigan's All-American football star, now a top sports announcer. Mrs. Harmon is the motion picture and television star Elise Knox. They're typical of people everywhere who are saying, Chesterfields for me.
I like regular-sized Chesterfields. Have for years. They're best for me, at least I think so, because of that Chesterfield quality.
That's the way I feel about them, too. I've always smoked Chesterfields. Now I go for the king size. Guess I like a longer smoke.
No king-size cigarette satisfies like king-size Chesterfield. For the taste you want, the mildness you want, a really refreshing smoke every time, change to Chesterfield. Regular or king-size, America's most popular two-way cigarette.
Frank and I left the office and drove over to the address we'd been given on the phone. As we pulled up in front of the house, we could see a man standing on the porch. We got out of the car and we went up the walk. At the front door, we met the woman who'd called. She said that the man had rung the doorbell and had tried to force his way into the house. She went on to say that her husband wasn't home and that she'd managed to stall the man until we got there. We took him back to the city hall and talked to him in the interrogation room. He identified himself as Victor Nadell. Frank went down the hall to run him through records and identification.
A lot of trouble you guys are causing me. No reason for all this.
What were you doing at that house?
Trying to earn a living.
You have to force your way in to do that?
Oh, that old broad's off her rocker. I didn't try to get into the place.
She says you did.
She's flipped.
What do you do for a living?
I work, you know another way?
What kind of work?
Salesman.
What do you sell?
Right now I'm selling lots.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Where?
Tracked out in the desert.
Who do you work for?
I don't think I'm going to tell you that. You're not going to get them in no trouble.
We're going to find out anyway. Now, why don't you save yourself a lot of grief and tell us?
You get paid, you dig it out.
You ever been arrested?
A couple of times.
Where?
Oklahoma.
What for?
Call it hijacking.
Robbery?
Same thing.
You ever do any time?
No, they couldn't nail it down.
Where do you live?
Got a room down on East 5th, room and privileges.
Who do you work for?
That's your job.
How long you been in town?
A couple of months.
You been working for this real estate company since you got here?
Yeah, I got the job a couple of days after I got off the train.
How'd you get it?
Answered an ad.
You ever see that woman out on Studio Court before?
No.
You don't know her.
I told you.
She'd have no reason to tie a bad beef on you, would she?
She's doing it, ain't she?
She's kind of silly without any reason in it.
Yeah, she's a woman. That's all they need.
All right, empty your pockets out on the table here.
Why?
Come on. We're not playing games here. Empty your pockets.
What's this all about? What are you guys trying to prove with all this strong
We're trying
stuff?
to find out why you wanted to break into that house.
I told you I didn't break into the house. That old harpy's out of her mind to tell you a thing like that. I don't know why, but she's got it in for me. Wants to see me get into trouble.
You said you didn't know her.
That's right.
You never saw her before.
That's what I said.
And why'd she build a thing like this?
I told you I don't know it's a lie. I walked up to the door and asked if I could talk to her. Just try to talk to her. Right away she starts yelling at me to get away, get off the property.
Why didn't you leave then?
I wanted to make a sale.
You must have figured she wasn't interested.
I needed to make a sale. I haven't been doing too good. I had to make a sale or I'd have lost my job.
That's the reason to act like a tough guy, isn't it?
All I did was try to talk to her into buying
Well,
a
you
lot.
got a funny way of doing it.
I thought maybe she was going to call the police, make a complaint. If she'd have done that, I'd have lost my job, sure.
And that's all there is to it.
I'm telling you the truth. You got to believe me.
You've been working in the neighborhood before?
No, it's the first time. I've been kind of sick the last week. This is the first time out for me. First time I've been around here.
Where'd you work before?
Westlake area?
You ever have any trouble there?
No, none.
Why'd you make the switch then?
Just thought I'd try a new territory, see if I could make up for the week I lost.
Mm-hmm. You got anybody who'll back up this story for you?
People at my rooming house, I'll tell you. They'll say I was there all week, some kind of flu, they'll tell you.
Joe?
Yeah.
See you a minute.
Yeah.
You want me to wait here?
That's right. Just sit there. What do you got?
Well, looks like we nailed the wrong guy.
How do you figure?
Call just came in. The radio car picked up a fellow out on Rosewood Avenue.
Yeah.
Caught him in a house trying to beat a woman to death.
How about the description?
Matches the suspect right down the line.
Victor Nadell was booked in at the main jail pending further investigation. We were unable to connect him with any robbery, but Perry Thomas of the city attorney's office issued a complaint charging violation of Section 415 of the Penal Code. At 7:46 p.m., the suspect we'd gotten a call about arrived at the city hall. He was fingerprinted and checked through R&I. We found that he'd served a year and a day in New York State for breaking and entering. He'd served a sentence in the state of Washington on similar charges. Physically, he matched the description we'd gotten from the victims. While Pinky Meade and Dee Leitner contacted the women and asked them to come down to the office, Frank and I questioned the suspect. Rudolph Marnell, is that your true name?
Yes, sir.
Where do you live?
My home's out in Hollywood.
It's a big place. Narrow it down, will you?
Ledgewood Drive, 2917.
You ever been arrested?
Yeah, you know that. It was a mistake, though.
Both times?
Well, the second time was because of the first.
What do you mean by that?
Well, once you've done time, it seems like anything goes wrong, the cops are on your back, just like this.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell us what happened out there tonight?
You mean on Rosewood?
That's right.
Big misunderstanding.
Well, you tell us about it, will you?
I wanted to use her phone. I don't know. I guess she got scared about something. All I wanted to do was make a call.
How'd you ask her?
Regular way. Told her I was in trouble. Asked if I could phone. Next thing I know, she's screaming up a storm. There's cops all around me.
According to this report, you didn't stop when you were told. Is that right?
I guess so.
Well, is it or isn't it?
Yeah.
Why'd you run?
Well, I didn't know what was going on. I got a record. I had enough to do with cops to last me the rest of my life. As soon as I heard the sirens, I took off. I guess I didn't hear that cop tell me to stop.
Yeah. Kind of hard to believe.
Well, you believe the woman who says I tried to slug her. You believe her, but you don't believe me. You see, that's what I meant.
What's that?
Well, as soon as you fall once, there's a dozen cops right behind you all the time waiting to stomp on you.
You ever figure that you helped build it that way?
Well, it reads good, but you ain't got nobody on your tail.
All right. Now tell us again about tonight.
I told the cops who picked me up. I told the cop who fingerprinted me. I already told you once. Now, how many times you want to hear it?
Until we get it the right way?
Well, how are you going to know?
We'll find it. Come on. Go down to the interrogation room. Go ahead. Down this way.
Go ahead, right in there.
Sit down. All right, Marnell, now let's clean it up.
What do you mean?
You know we're going to have no trouble making you on these things. We got the victims on their way down here now. As soon as they identify you, you've had it. So save yourself a lot of time and trouble if you cop out now.
I'd like to give you a hand, Sarge. I really would, but there's nothing I can do. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. What were you doing on January 10th?
10th?
That's right.
What day was that?
Thursday.
Gee, I don't know. It's a long time ago. It's hard to remember.
How about the 11th?
Same. I don't remember.
14th?
Yeah, I can tell you about that.
All right, go ahead.
I got through work and went home, met the wife, we had dinner, took in a show.
You can prove that?
Well, sure. Ask my wife. She'll tell you.
All right. How about Wednesday the 16th?
Blank.
You don't remember what you were doing on the 16th of January, huh?
No. Is it important?
It's going to be for you.
How about the 17th?
That'd be Thursday?
That's right.
I stayed home and watched the wrestling on television.
You can prove that, can you?
Sure. Had some people in to watch the matches.
Give us their names, will you?
Yeah.
Who was wrestling that night?
Oh, you want them all or just the main?
Well, how about the semi-windup?
Let me think. Yeah, it was a tag team match between the McLean brothers and the South Twins.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
How about the 19th? What'd you do then?
19th. That would be
Saturday.
Well, I'm off Saturday. I don't remember too good. Probably came home, sat around the house, drank beer, and loafed.
Mm-hmm. That was Saturday the 19th.
Yeah, the 19th.
How about Monday the 21st?
I bowled that night.
Where?
Lane's out on Sunset.
Bowl there all the time?
Yeah.
You bowl every Monday night?
No, not every week. Usually it's on Tuesday.
Why'd you change this week?
Well, some of the guys couldn't make it Tuesday, so we changed the day.
Mm-hmm. Anything special to you about January 14th, 17th, 21st?
Now, what do you mean special?
Well, your birthday, your anniversary, something like that?
No.
Just regular days.
That's right.
Nothing to make them stand out.
No.
Then how come you can remember what you were doing on those days? You can't give us a story to fit January 10th, 11th, 16th, or 19th.
I don't know. What are you guys trying to get me to say? What are you trying to get at?
The truth.
Well, I'm giving it to you.
We can't see it.
How come you remember those days?
I don't know. I just do.
It's kind of funny. I couldn't remember what I was doing last week. I'd have to sit down and think about it.
You didn't even have to try to remember. You knew right away, didn't you?
Like it was important for you to remember.
You keep trying to build an alibi, don't you?
Look, you asked me where I was. I told you.
Let's have the names of the people you say you're with.
You going to talk to them?
That's right.
Well, maybe they won't remember.
I think they will.
But what happens if they don't?
Then you're in big trouble.
You're holding a lot of it right now.
Let's have the names.
Sure, I haven't got nothing to worry about. I'll give them to you.
Here's a pencil. Paper there.
I don't know all the addresses.
We'll look them up.
You're going to have to talk to them, huh?
Sure. What's the matter? You think they won't stand behind you?
No, it's not that.
Then what is it?
Well, just that they don't know I've done time. Maybe when they find out, they'll try to get me. You know, say they weren't with me, they might do that.
Yeah, like that woman tonight.
Yeah, just like that.
People don't like you much, do they, Marnell? Seems like everybody's trying to get you in trouble.
I want a lawyer.
You want to check, Frank, see if the victims are here?
Yeah.
But what's going to happen now?
Well, we got some people we want to see you.
Who are they?
The women you beat up.
No, you can't make me on those jobs.
We think we can.
Yeah, well, you just try. You take this thing into court, they're going to throw it right out.
That's the way you got it figured, is it?
That's right.
Go ahead, Frank. Bring him in.
All right.
I said I want a lawyer.
What?
I said I want a lawyer.
Yeah, well, you'll get one.
Yeah, and a jury. I want a jury trial.
You got a choice.
You bet I have. You bring all these women down here to point me out, well, this isn't going to work. A bunch of people who don't like me, causing me trouble. People who don't like me. I want a jury trial, a judge and a jury.
All right, you'll get them. I'll make you a bet. They won't like you either.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On May 16th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. You know, the Chesterfield you smoked today is the best cigarette ever made, and best for you. Now, that's a fact. And to my way of thinking, it's the very reason for you to change to Chesterfield. Try 'em either way, regular or king size. If you try 'em, I think you'll say with all of us, Chesterfield's for me.
Rudolph August Marnell was filed on for 4 counts of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts of burglary in the first degree, and 5 counts of assault with intent to do great bodily injury. He was found guilty by a jury trial on all counts and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to do great bodily harm is punishable by a term of from 1 to 20 years in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Helen Cleave. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Filter cigarette smokers, here is headline news. Nationwide demand for L&M filters drops price. Now you save up to 4 cents a pack, 40 cents a carton. Now everyone can afford America's highest quality and best filter tip cigarette. Remember, only L&M's have the miracle filter tip containing alpha cellulose. You get much more flavor, much less nicotine. Buy L&M filters, the distinctive monogram cigarette at the new low price. L&M filters.
This one's about Pete Kelly. It's about the world he goes around in. It's about the big music and the big troubles and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Moser and music by Dick Cathcart.
My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. You'll find us at 417 Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. We got 35 cases of cut whiskey and a 7-piece band. We start every night at 10 and we play till 6 in the morning. It's not much, but the contract runs out in June 1924. After that, there's a place in South Chicago that may take us. In the meantime, we're working here on Cherry Street. The lease is made out to George Lupo. His brother gave it to him after the funeral. The kind of music we play started out as a backroom exercise in a little swamp stop called Myrtle Grove. La Rocca took his Dixieland band to Reisenweber's in New York. We got as far as Kansas City. It's no place to get off a train unless you're a sack of mail. Because around here, everybody works at the same job, staying alive. $50 buys a pair of socks, a spaghetti dinner, or a down payment on murder. Well, last night, everything turned sour about midnight. The town was down on its hands and knees trying to crawl through one of those Kansas City hot spells that blast by every third day. It was heat and headaches all the way. Our drummer, Nick, was dragging the beat, and I went bad 12 bars in on the Memphis Blues. Well, I figured we better cut the set short, so we started to fight our way through one chorus of Roses of Picardy. That's when the kid came in and stood by the bandstand. He was tall enough to see over a quart of milk with a face the size of a minute and just about as young.
All right, let's get off for a while.
Who's your friend, Pete?
I don't know, but he must be tone deaf.
Mr. Kelly! Kelly!
Yeah, son.
I heard you play. You sound good.
We've been better. What's on your mind?
Father Cronin sent me to see you.
Are you doing a little missionary work?
Oh, no, sir, nothing like that. I'm an altar boy over there. Father calls me Little Jake.
I sure got you working the late shift.
I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. Father wants a favor.
Well, make it a small one. I'm all out of the big one.
And he just wanted to know if you could come by St. Timothy's and see him. He said tomorrow morning right after the 9 o'clock.
Okay. Tell him he keeps terrible hours. I'll be there.
Thanks, Mr. Kelly.
Pete Kelly?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell the kid goodbye.
He knows his way out.
Should I go, Mr. Kelly?
See you, kid.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, goodbye, Jake.
You got someplace private? We'd like to talk.
This is my office.
Now listen hard, Bright Eyes. There's enough gun in this coat to blow you right through the wall.
I'll take your word for it.
We coming in nice and you get funny mouth. Now you got someplace we can talk?
I can't leave. I gotta do a number.
Do it.
We'll be right here about 10 feet from your stomach.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
You look sick, Pete. What's the matter?
I feel fine. Who's sorry now? Everybody ready? Let's go.
you proved it. Now, let's go.
Yeah. Keep them going, Red.
How many shall we do, Pete?
If this works out, about 10 minutes worth. Let's go.
The alley will do. We need a favor, Kelly.
Yeah, there's a run on them tonight.
Give me the envelope, Dix.
Yeah.
You got an inside coat pocket, Kelly?
Come on. Either throw or pass the dice.
Hold him, Dix. Pull him up, Dix.
Come on.
Up. Yeah. Now, this is how. Here's an envelope. It goes in your inside coat pocket, and it stays there until 6 o'clock tomorrow night. You don't open it, you don't mess with it.
What happens at 6 o'clock?
You'll be the first to know.
Well, I stood there in the alley and watched them walk away. Inside, Lupo was blowing up a storm. Something about paying for a 7-piece band and only having 6. Well, it wasn't worth trying to get back on the stand. I got a cab and went up to my room. I tried to get to sleep. It was no good. I got up. I was sick to my stomach. After that, I went to sleep. The next morning, I made a pass at some breakfast and tried to look through the sports page. Harry Heilman got 4 for 5 against the Red Sox, but that's all I read. That envelope had me. People have been taken out in alleys before, and they've been worked over. Usually they get something away from them, not to give it to them. No matter how I tried to put it together, it wouldn't come out. Thin or fat, it wouldn't slice. I had the envelope, and I had to wait till 6 o'clock. Well, I gave up on the coffee, and I started over to see Father Cronin. It was a little after 9:30 when I started up the steps of St. Timothy's. I figured Mass was almost over, so I hung around in the vestibule for a couple of minutes, trying to look like a part-time bell ringer.
Hi, Mr. Kelly.
Hello, Jake.
Father's back in the sacristy, Mr. Kelly. He said for me to show you the way.
They move it?
No, sir.
All right, Jake. Show me the way.
This way, Mr. Kelly. Down this aisle.
Well, I guess I was too busy trying to act like I knew my way around to pay much attention to a fat, chunky little guy wearing a brown Borsalino hat. He stood up in a back pew a couple of aisles over. The church was empty except for the 3 of us. Little Jake found out about it just before I did.
Mr. Kelly, that man back there.
All right, mister. I'll take that envelope.
Jake, get out.
Mr. Kelly, look out! Look out!
Well, in Kansas City, you learn early to look for trouble. Any place, any time. But this is the first time it caught up with me in the middle of a church. The last 3 shots were a waste of money. Jake went down like young wheat in a hailstorm. When I grabbed for him, I hit my head on the base of a marble pillar. I lost the edge right there. By the time I hit the street, he was gone. I guess I covered every alley and street in the neighborhood. But it was like trying to wash a pail of dirty water. I don't know how much later it was when I stopped for a minute in an empty doorway and tried to remember what I was chasing. Well, a siren was crying off somewhere in the distance, and I started back for the church. The coroner's wagon was just pulling away as I got there. I didn't see Father Cronin around, so I went back to the rectory and rang the bell. He came to the door in his shirt sleeves. He stood there for a minute just looking at me. And then he motioned me inside.
In here. Sit down.
The kid, Father, little Jake.
He's dead. You want a blow-by-blow?
Yeah, I know, Father. I was there.
Sure you were there. You're always there. I should have known better than to call you. I should have known it meant trouble.
Oh, wait a minute, Father. This wasn't my party.
I called you here today to ask you a favor, Pete.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know. It's too late now. We were going to have an altar boys picnic tomorrow at Washington Park. I wanted you to play a little music for us. We won't be going now, Pete. We got a funeral instead.
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
Don't say anything, Pete. If you've got any private fights, that's your business. But don't bring your beefs into the church.
I never saw the guy before, Father.
Don't kid me. He didn't come in here to shoot little Jake.
Now, look, I know this is hard to understand.
You bet it's hard to understand. We've been over it before, but you ran with the same pack. You hung on to the same friends. You had it all figured out. Well, you figured this one, Pete. There's a 9-year-old boy on his way to the morgue. He took a gangster's bullet that you earned. Now you go ahead. Figure it.
I got this envelope.
I don't want an explanation. Take your excuses and peddle them where you need them. To the bootleggers and the gunmen. Take them to your crowd.
This envelope, Father, they shoved it in my pocket. I was out in the alley behind the club. 2 guys. They worked me over. I didn't think they'd try anything like this.
Neither did little Jake.
All right, Father, I told you I was sorry.
Go on home.
Why don't you stop cutting at me and say a prayer for that kid?
I would, but I'm too busy praying for people like you.
Well, you couldn't blame him. How do you explain away a dead kid lying in front of an altar rail? All I could offer was a 2-cent envelope in my coat pocket and a wild night in an alley. I started to walk back to my room. I tried to paste up some kind of an answer, but I got nothing. I was halfway home when the last breeze left town and went someplace to cool off. My clothes were soaking wet, and I decided to take a cab the rest of the way. I reached in my pocket, and all I had was 23 cents, so I kept walking. Sunday morning's the same in any town. Empty streets and everybody home trading the comic section and living off a Saturday night. You can live here all your life, and on Sunday morning you just got in town. It was about noon when I got to my hotel. I went up to the second floor and unlocked my door. They were sitting on the bed. Their coats were off, and they'd hung them on the back of a chair. The same two boys who'd given me the envelope last night.
A real hot room here, Kelly. You ought to move off this cord.
Yeah, next time I'll get twin beds.
Is everything all right with that envelope?
It made a murder, mister. You take it.
Put it back in your pocket.
Now get this, both of you. There's a lot of something wrong here. I've had my turn. You find yourself another fall guy. There's a lot of inside coat pockets in this town. Look for a new one.
We like yours, and that's where it's going to stay. Now, you don't listen good. Me and Dex put it out last night, and you didn't pick up on it. We got you on board, and we'll tell you when to get off.
6 o'clock, boy.
How long do you think this jag will last? Look, I'm cashing in. I've had enough.
What were you doing this morning, trying to pray your way out?
The priest wanted a favor.
I got it, Lon.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. No, he's busy. From 2 to 5. Sure, come on up.
Benny.
He went for it, huh?
On his way up. We're going to stay a while, Kelly.
Well, there's only 3 chairs. I'll make it easy for you.
Stay put, mister.
No, he's your friend. I'm checking out.
First time you've been right.
Well, it happened so fast I didn't even see his arm move. My knees buckled and I pitched forward. I don't know how long I laid there, but when I opened my eyes, the afternoon sun was almost gone. What was left of it was bleeding through a rip in the blind. Well, I could hear somebody breathing hard like a fat man on a hot day, and when I rolled over, I saw him. A tough prohibition agent by the name of Cage. The weather didn't make any difference to Cage. He always looked that way. His collar was wilted, and it looked like Arrow's first try. His necktie was pulled down, and the knot was twisted. The heat had worked him over so that the front of his shirt was splotchy and damp. Reminded you of a first-grader's map of the world. He was sitting in a chair with his arms draped over the back and his head resting on his hands. He was smoking a Milo Violet, but it didn't help that much. His mouth was wound around a toothy grin, and he looked like a mountain lion who'd just eaten her young.
You can get up now, Kelly. You made your point.
Yeah, sure. How long you been here?
Long enough to fill out your booking slip. You're going to jail, mister.
What for? Sleeping on the floor?
For the dead guy on the bed. Who is he?
I don't know. How'd he get there?
You put him there after you shot him. Now get your hat.
Look, Prohibition's your racket. Dead bodies are out of your line.
Not when I find him in your room. Now let's go downtown. We'll both tell homicide. We'll find the details later.
Gage, you couldn't find yourself in a mirror. I didn't have anything to do with this, and you know it. I've been out for the last 3 hours. This happened after they slugged me.
Save it for the jury. All I know is I got a phone tip to check room 205. I come up here and I find you and a dead guy. That's all I need. You can dress it up fancy and make it look cute, but it still comes out murder.
There's enough liquor in this town to float it away, and you're wasting your time with a killing that's none of your business.
You're my business, big shot. Somebody put 2 pounds of lead in Benny's chest, and you're my pick.
Benny who?
Benny Davis. He worked for Mike Quinlan. You look pale.
Yeah, I'm just beginning to feel the squeeze. Mike Quinlan on one side and those 2 trigger men that you let walk out of here on the other.
You got it, and I'll be turning a handle.
Now, before you start worrying about your picture in the paper, you better turn up the 2 guys that were here with me.
That part of the same dream?
They gave me an envelope to hold for them. The price on it's going up with a minute. A 9-year-old kid died for it, and this guy here on the bed.
That's a good story. Do you write him down or just make him up?
Look, you got nothing on me, and I haven't got much time. I'm leaving you.
That's all right. I call downtown. The minute you hit the street, they'll pick you up.
In the meantime, you better come up with more than you got. They don't hang you in this state on a hunch.
I'm going to check this room over. I'll find all we need.
You couldn't find your head with both hands. Goodbye, Cage.
All right, you got till midnight, big shot, and then I'll be around.
Yeah.
I'll have it all set up. All we'll need is time to run the extra.
Well, I could have used a cold shower, but with Cage there, I didn't have the room to dry off. I went down the hall and headed down the back stairs. I figured even if Cage was right about calling downtown, I might have an edge if I moved fast enough. The sun was on the downgrade, but it didn't make any difference. It'd done a good job all day, and the heat was boiling up out of the ground. If I was going to come out at all, I had to have some help. So I started to look for the only honest guy I know, an ex-bootlegger by the name of Barney Ricketts. The only bootlegger in the country that went broke in 1922. He drank himself out of business. I phoned 8 different places and tried 4. Nobody'd seen him. I was about ready to give up when I finally found him sitting in the middle of a bourbon fog in a little Spanish joint somewhere on the edge of the East Bottoms. He was sitting at a back table trying his best to make time with a plaster bust of Queen Isabella.
P.T., my boy, you're just in time. I'm not quite certain, but I think the young lady here has a friend.
I gotta talk to you, Barney.
If you're any good at all with Spanish, now is the time. I was positive she'd loosen up on this second bottle of wine, but no, she's utterly uncharitable, and I think she's a picture of a perfect boy.
Yeah, all right, Barney.
To a member of the old Castilian school, there can be no excuse for the conduct she's exhibiting.
Yeah.
Why, do you know I was even good enough to buy her 3 rounds of Portuguese brandy? Imported, mind you. But what do I get for my pains? Not even a civil thank you.
All right, listen to me, will you,
I've
Barney?
been sitting here in a most gentlemanly fashion, sipping this delicate nectar and trying vainly to keep the party going. But does she help? No! I've talked to her about politics, medicine, literature, Keats, Byron, Shelley, Faith Baldwin. I've even talked about the weather.
Barney, she's a statue.
Oh, a simple oversight, P.T. It could happen to anyone.
Now, look, I'm in trouble.
Of course you're in trouble. You'll always be in trouble because you're a child of adversity, a son of scorn. The fates spit in your eye and you try to retaliate, but the wind's always blowing in the wrong direction. You're a lost leaf in the mortal storm, Petey. You're a pebble shaking a tiny fist at the mountain. You'd like to fight for some strange, fantastic cause, wouldn't you? But you can't find anybody your size. Men are too small and the gods are too big. Petey, you're lost.
Are you all through now?
Yes, what kind of trouble?
A pair of bum murder raps. Somebody slugged me in my room, and I woke up with a dead guy.
Dubious honor. You mentioned 2 murders.
One of them was an altar boy over at St. Timothy's. The other guy worked for Mike Quinlan.
The same Quinlan that controls most of the Canadian import here in town?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, time's short. Let's finish the brandy.
2 guys started all this at the club last night. Names are Ludd and Dex. Mean anything to you?
This'll all sound better with more brandy. You picked 2 of Quinlan's first string. Ludd Sandell and Dex Porter, both killers.
Look, they gave me an envelope to hang on to. Now, nose around. See if you can find out what it all means. The dead guy up in my room, his name's Benny Davis. See if you can find out where he fits in, will you?
It'd be a lot simpler if you just joined Quinlan's gang. Benny Davis holds a card in the same organization.
Well, how about Ludd and Dex? Any bad blood between them and
If
Davis?
there is, it doesn't show. They're closer than unborn peas.
You sure about that, Barney?
Police blotter can't be that wrong. Benny's sister will tell you the same thing.
Where do I find her?
Chelsea Apartments. Beautiful girl, Petey. When you're my age, she'll disturb your memories.
All right, now get going, will you? See how close you can get to Quinlan's headquarters. Find out what you can about Ludd and Dex and Benny Davis. Maybe Quinlan's got him on a special job or something. Find out what it is, will you?
You'll find me in a temporary economic slump, Petey. I'll need car fare.
Yeah, well, that makes 2 of us. I'm broke. You'll have to do it on foot.
Oh, well, I have friends here, and my credit's unlimited.
Well, hurry up, will you, Barney?
One moment. Alfonso, would you loan me $1.50?
Come on, let's go.
He's only bluffing. He won't shoot.
Well, Barney headed down toward Bale Street from Mike Quinlan's place, and I started cross town for the North End and the Chelsea Apartments. I couldn't begin to work it out. If Dex and Ludd were such good friends with Benny Davis, why did they kill him? And if they didn't do it, who planted his body in my room and why? Well, I was running way late, and there wasn't much time to catch up. I finally found the Chelsea Apartments on the corner of Stocker and Bales, with an old 3-story wooden frame. I checked the mailbox, and Louise Davis was down for apartment 17. Well, inside, the hallway was dark, and a couple of gas jets were smoking up the ceiling. There was a potted palm by the foot of the stairs, and it looked like it was growing out of old gum wrappers and cigar butts. Apartment 17 was at the rear of the first floor. She answered the door, and you could tell right away Barney was right. She was pretty, and she had enough smile to last you for years.
Yes?
You Louise Davis?
That's right. I can do better for you. You're Pete Kelly. I've heard you play.
Yeah, well, so far you're batting 1,000. Can I come in?
Yeah, sure. You didn't bring your band, so it must be a social call.
I'll make this short. It's about Benny.
What about him?
That's what I want to know. He's got a couple of friends. I got to know about him.
Then he isn't that popular. You mean Ludd and Dex?
They'll do. They got trouble, and they're cutting me in.
What kind of trouble?
No, I'm not sure. That's why I came to you.
I can't help you. They never tell me what they're doing.
Well, they gave me an envelope. They told me to hold it till 6 o'clock tonight.
You haven't got any problem. You'll know in an hour.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm tired. I want to know now. I'll take any leads you got.
They found out I told you this. They might not like it. They got some kind of a beef with Quinlan.
Does Mike know about it?
I wouldn't know. I just heard him talking one night. They're not happy with the money Quinlan gives them.
They got any plans?
I don't think we've got to talk about this. Let me get you a drink, huh?
Now, look, this is the last trip around for me, lady. I got to have everything you know.
You said something about an envelope, didn't you?
That's right.
You got it?
Right here.
If you open it, you'll understand everything.
Well, they gave it to me sealed. They want it back the same way.
If you want to be around to give it back, you'd better open it.
You got a guarantee handy?
All I know is the 3 of them are working on something big. I don't know what it is, but I heard some talk about an envelope. It's your choice. You asked for a lead and you got it.
Yeah, we'll hold hands when they cut me down. You got a letter opener?
Pete, look out!
Well, it all happened faster than a Mexican divorce. Louise Davis was dead before the echo left the room. Well, I got to the window, but whoever did the shooting was gone. I grabbed the envelope, and on my way out, I took another look at her. There wasn't anything left but the smile. I cut through a couple of back lots and down an alley. I stopped in the doorway and opened the envelope. Inside was a handful of typewritten sheets. Looked like a lot of headache for 5 pieces of paper. And then the bell rang. 2 of them were consignment slips for 8,000 gallons of high-grade Canadian whiskey. The other 3 slips were detailed breakdowns for a convoy of trucks. They showed special truck routes over the Canadian border into the States to miss the hijackers and the prohibition agents. They showed a day-by-day schedule for each truck on its trip down from the border. Well, it's not too tough to hijack a load of booze, but when you got it laid out right down to the time, the place, and how many bottles, it's like money in the bank. So I knew right then why the envelope meant so much to Ludd and Dex. What I couldn't understand was where they got it. Why they gave it to me to hang on to. Well, maybe they were working for Quinlan, but why didn't he have the papers, and why weren't they in his safe? Mike had a big one. Well, the questions were still piling up. There was an outside chance, but I couldn't stand still, so I crossed over to the Kansas side and headed down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Maggie Jackson did 2 things good. She sang the blues better than the guy who wrote them, and she could pick up an idle rumor at 3 miles.
Hi, Pete.
Maggie, what do you know?
I knew you'd be here tonight. You always come in together. Trouble and Pete Kelly.
Yeah, I know. I never come around except when I need something.
As long as I have it to give, you got it. It's Mike Quinlan that's tying in.
Well, that's part of it. I'm in it up to my ears.
You got an envelope, I heard.
Yeah?
Mike Quinlan and some of his boys have been here about an hour ago. They tore the paper off the walls looking for you and Dex and Ludd.
Dex and Ludd?
Mike wants all 3 of you.
Yeah? Anything else?
No. Bonnie Ricketts called for you.
Did he leave a number?
He's still waiting on the phone. I took the call. He said you'd end up here, so he just hung on.
Well, I'll get it right now.
Yeah, the boss is kind of mad. The phone's been tied up for 2 hours.
All right, thanks, Maggie.
Sure, and good luck, Pete.
Hello, Bonnie.
There you are, Petey.
That'll be $1.25 for another 3 minutes.
Yes, all right, operator. Alfonso, 5 more quarters, please. No, the quarters. Just a minute, Petey. Alfonso does another quarters from the house.
Yeah, well, hurry up.
Thank you.
Now then, Pete. No, Alfonso, no more money for the moment.
What's going on, Bonnie? Where are you?
Fort Madison, Iowa. I'm troubleshooting for you, Pete.
Well, what'd you find out?
It's a double cross. Mike Quinlan's involved in one of the biggest deals of his career, and Benny Davis, along with Dex and Ludd, stole the consignment papers.
Yeah, I know. That's what's in the envelope.
You better get them back to Quinlan. I understand he's been tearing up the town for him.
Well, what do I do about Dex and Ludd?
She might easily end up like Benny Davis. Seems Ludd and Dex didn't want to split it 3 ways, so they killed him.
You sure about all this?
That's why I'm up here in Iowa. I suggest that you join us.
No, I'll see you when you get back.
It's been a gay, mad world, Petey. We drove 60 miles an hour all the way up here.
Yeah?
Alfonso's drunk. He thinks the phone's his slot machine. He's waiting for the payoff.
Well, as soon as I hung up the phone, everything fell into place. I had one big worry, to get back to the club and unload those papers before Quinlan caught up with me. Well, almost everything made sense now, except the killing of Louise Davis, Benny's sister. It was easy to see why they dropped Benny along the way, but why his sister? How did she tie in? Well, on the way back to town, I mulled over a couple of possibilities, and I figured maybe I came up with the answer. I started back for town, and it was rough all the way. I kept thinking any minute I'd bump into Mike Quinlan, and I couldn't be sure that I'd lost Dex and Ludd. It was almost dark by the time I got back to the club. The band was waiting around for the Sunday rehearsal. We ran through one number, and then things got cloudy.
Now, Kelly.
You're early, Dex.
Close enough.
No, not for me. You said 6 o'clock.
Your horn's no match for this gun. Give me the envelope.
6 o'clock, Dex. All right. Let's try someday, sweetheart. Hand me that plunger, will you, Red? I'll give you the pickup. see you at 10.
You gonna give me that envelope, or do I blow it out of your pocket?
The same way you handled Louise Davis?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. You killed her and you killed her brother.
You got it all figured out, haven't you, Kid?
One player's right, Dex. Don't turn around.
You got it wrong, Lud.
I don't think so. I never should have let you kill Benny. That should have been the tip-off, and that kid in the church and Benny's sister. You had to make the big try.
Was for me and you, Lud.
It won't wash. You're gonna die, Dex. Pick a spot to lay down.
Not in the back, Lud. You'd give me a better chance than that.
Would I?
Look out, Lud.
Like I said, Dex, pick a spot. Well, that wraps it up, Kelly.
You better sit down, Lud.
No, this'll do. It won't be a long wait. I don't mind standing.
Suit yourself. 6 o'clock, Lud. Here's your envelope.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hello, Pete.
Hi, Father.
Just going to stop by. I heard the gunshots. I knew you'd be around.
Well, let me tell you again, Father. I'm sorry about Jake. I don't know what else to say. I'm just sorry.
I believe you. We'll have the funeral for little Jake tomorrow. Maybe you want to stop by.
Yeah. Some things never figure. A 9-year-old kid shot down. No reason for it. None in the world. 9-year-old kid.
It's done, Pete. Don't waste your pity on little Jake. He's got a big lead on both of us.
I don't get you, Father.
You and I should die as good as a 9-year-old.
Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Moser and music by Dick Cathcart. Scoring by Matty Matlock.
The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven consists of Dick Cathcart on cornet, Matty Matlock on clarinet, Nick Patul on drums, Ray Sherman on piano, George Van Ness on guitar, Judd Donat on bass, Mo Schneider on trombone. The songs of Maggie Jackson were written by Arthur Hamilton. Pete Kelly's Blues is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to forgery detail. A group of check passers is working in your city. They've hit over 50 places of business. You have no lead to their true identity. They're still working. Your job, stop them.
It was Wednesday, July 11th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of forgery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief Detective Stab Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office. It was 11:20 a.m. when we got to the corner of York Boulevard and Buchanan Street. The York Cannon Market.
Yeah, something you're looking for?
Like to see Tom Dawson?
He's in the back there over by counter 11, cold cereal.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Mr. Dawson?
Yeah?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
Oh, about the check, huh?
That's right.
Mind if I go ahead with this display? I'd like to get it finished. I got enough trouble with the boss as it is. I don't want to build any more.
No, sir. You go right ahead.
Is this fellow cop, too?
Yes, sir. This is Officer Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
How do you do, Mr. Dawson?
Sure hope you can get the guy that gave me the paper. The way it stands now, I'm going to have to make it up out of my salary. I don't make that much. I haven't told my wife yet. She's going to scream like an eagle when she finds out. We got a real strict budget. Sure going to louse it up.
Do you have the check?
Yeah. I got it right here. Came back from the bank this morning. The boss gave it to me. Here you go.
Thank you. Same as the others? Looks like it, yeah. Here. Thanks.
How's that look to you?
Sir?
The display, look all right?
Oh, yes, sir. It's fine.
Got this mask finished, and it's all done.
What can you tell us about the man who gave you the check?
What do you want to know?
Well, what kind of identification did he use?
Well, just about the whole thing. Driver's license, social security card, gasoline credit card, the works.
Mm-hmm.
There's pencil notation on the back of the check. Is this his license number?
Let me take a look. There. Yeah, that's it. I figured sure it'd be good. Nice-looking fella. Sure never going for a paper hanger.
Can you give us a description of him?
Yeah, sure can. I got a good look at it. This sure ought to sell the stuff.
What's that, sir?
I say this ought to sell the stuff. This mask. We're giving them away when you buy the breakfast food. Extra quarter and you get one of these head things. Kids sure go for them.
Uh-huh.
Whole display's built around it. You see, the finished mask goes right there. Makes it look like the cardboard kid's wearing it.
Uh-huh.
You want to go ahead with the questions while I put it together?
Yes, sir. Have you ever seen this man before?
No. Of course, he might have been around. We do a pretty good business. Could have been in, I wouldn't have remembered.
What'd he say to you?
Just came in and bought some groceries. Must have been about $1.50's worth. Asked me to cash a check. I told him the manager would have to okay it.
Mm-hmm.
Told him the manager wasn't here. He'd have to wait.
Well, can't anyone else give the okay?
Not supposed to. If we do and something goes wrong, we're stuck for it.
I see.
The guy told me he didn't have time. Said he was on his lunch hour and he had to get the groceries home. So I asked him if he had any identification. He said he did. Looked all right to me, so I cashed the check.
Uh-huh.
Oh, say, would you hold this mask for me while I get the rubber band around the top?
Yeah, sure.
Now, wait till I wind it around a couple of times. We put these things up high, but the kids still find a way to get them down. If they're not put together good, they don't last long.
Uh-huh.
That'll do it. Let's see. I guess this is what goes in next, the eyepiece. Take the eyepiece and put it inside the mask. Slip into notches Y and T. I guess that's these.
Did you look at the man's identification closely?
How do you mean, close?
Well, did you take a good look at it?
Well, good enough to think it was all right to cash a check.
It looked genuine, huh?
Well, if it didn't, I wouldn't have gone for the money.
I see.
Was there anything about the man that'd make it easier for us to identify him?
Not that I could see. He looked ordinary enough. Nothing special about him. Nothing that'd stand out. Oh, hold this a minute, will you, while I put the earpieces in?
This here?
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I guess that's all there is. Put it up here on the top. And that does it. There. How's it look?
Fine.
Huh. Kind of scary.
Sure hope the boss likes it. Sure been on my back since that check came back. Seems like everything I do is wrong. Be glad when this day is over.
Yes, sir. You want to give us that description now?
For the man who gave me the check.
That's right.
Sure. I want to do all I can to help. You think if you catch him, I'll be able to get the money back?
Well, that's hard to say, sir.
Sure hope so. $89.60. That's a lot of money. I hate to lose it.
How much was that?
$89.60.
Yes, sir.
Don't even want to think about what my wife's going to say. Liable to be pretty rough.
Yes, sir, we understand. How old was the man?
About 27, around in there.
About how tall was he?
5'9", I guess. Say, if you do catch him, how do you go about getting the money back?
Well, it's booked as evidence first.
And then I get it back?
Well, that depends on what happens at the trial. It's not up to us to decide, sir.
You see, the suspect has gotten to several other people, too. If there is anything recovered, they've got a share of it.
And I probably won't get what's coming to me.
Well, no, sir, but you can be sure of one thing.
What's that?
The suspect will. 11:46 a.m. We got the complete description of the suspect, and we made arrangements for the victim to come down to the city hall and go through the mug books. The information on the driver's license was checked through R&I in the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we found it to be false. The first bad check had come to our attention on February 16th, 5 months previously. Between then and the present forgery, the gang had taken approximately $60,000 from businessmen in the Southland area. All attempts had been made to stop them. The checks cashed were all issued for the same amount, $91.10. The checks were drawn on real companies, but on banks where no account existed. Examination of the forgeries by the crime lab and by handwriting showed that the checks themselves were not genuine. The signatures on each of them varied. The typewriter used to fill in the payee and the date was different in each instance, as was the check protector used. M.O. bulletins carrying pictures of the checks and lists of the companies that they were drawn on were gotten out to all supermarkets and check cashing agencies in the city. None of the precautions we took did any good. The gang continued to operate. Each of the victims was questioned, but the descriptions of the suspect that they gave us was different in each instance. Examination of pictures of known check forgers using the same method of operation netted us nothing. The staff's office had made several runs on the information we had, but they were not able to come up with any new evidence. George Brereton up at Sacramento was contacted, and he furnished us a list of possibles. These were all checked out, and several arrests were made, clearing up other forgeries, but our prime suspects were still free, and they were still operating. Wednesday, 4:15 p.m., Frank and I came back from Captain Welsh's office.
Well, now we know how the skipper feels.
Now, can you blame him?
No, I guess not. We're doing all we can. If the people who run the stores won't look at the bulletins, there's nothing we can do.
The brakes are bound to go with us pretty soon. They got to start sometime. I get it. Forgery Friday. Oh, just a minute, ma'am. Fergie around?
I don't know. I'll take a look and back. Hey, Fergie, then? Fergie? No, he's not here.
He's not here right now. Can I take a message? Yes, ma'am. No, he's not working today. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you give me your number, I'll have him call when he gets in. All right. That's 98? Yes, ma'am. No, it's right in the message book. No, he'll see it. That's right. Yes, ma'am. No, he'll look at the book when he comes in. No, the first thing. You bet. Well, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Problem?
No, she just didn't believe that Fergie would get the message.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes Faye says the same thing.
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, that's... Oh, hi, B. Come on in.
Wasn't sure you'd be in.
You know my partner, Frank Smith, don't you? Beatrice Dowling?
Yeah, we've met.
Sure, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Sit down, B. Here.
Thanks.
There you go. Well, what can we do for you?
I just thought I'd drop in and say hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has at that. How's it been going?
Pretty good. Got myself a job when I got out. Things are working good for me.
How long's it been now?
A year ago, last January.
Well, is there anything we can do for you?
No. Might be the other way around.
How do you mean?
I never got a chance to tell you, Sergeant, how much I appreciated what you did for me, what you said in court.
Well, we just told him the truth.
Yeah, I know. It would have gone a lot harder with me if you hadn't been on my side.
Well, it's nice of you to think of it that way, anyway.
It's true. Never got a chance before. Now maybe there's a way I can pay you back.
It's not necessary, you know.
I know. I want to.
All right, what do you got?
You know how it is. When you get out of jail, you meet a lot of people in the business. They all got a deal for you, something to put you back on your feet.
Yeah, I know.
Same thing happened with me. I stayed clear of it, though. Never went near them.
Well?
I'm not going to con you. A couple of times, pretty hard, but I'm on the road, and I'm going to stay there.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, you get rumbles. You know, things come up. I got one the other day. More than a rumble. How about you right away? Figured this is the way to pay you back.
Well, what is it?
Met a guy in a bar, a little place near where I work. Usually after work, I stop in and have a beer while I wait for the traffic to clear up before I go home. The other night, a fellow come up and started talking. Nice-looking guy. We got to talking about different things. Nothing big, just things. You know how you do at a bar. He asked me what I did for a living, how things were going, like that. And he wanted to know if I'd like to pick up a few extra bucks.
Yeah.
Said that he wanted me to cash a check for him. I told him I didn't have the money. It didn't make any difference how small the check was. I didn't have the loot. Then he sprung it. He didn't want me to cash it myself. Said he wanted me to take it to the store and get it cashed. Said he'd give me half what the check was for.
Well, why didn't he do it himself?
Well, I asked him the same thing. That's when he told me. As soon as I heard it, I figured it might be something for you. He said the check was stolen.
Beatrice Dowling had been convicted of forgery 3 years before. She'd been sentenced to the California Institution for Women at Corona, California. Frank and I had a small part in the investigation that resulted in her conviction. During the trial, we testified that her cooperation had aided us in apprehending the rest of the gang and allowing us to clean up the entire operation. Since she'd been paroled, we'd lost track of her, but on those occasions when we talked to a parole officer, we found that she was living up to all of the conditions of her release. Frank and I took her across the street to a restaurant, and we talked further to her.
Pass the sugar, will you, Sergeant?
Yeah, here you are, B.
You don't use it?
No, thanks.
How about you, Mr. Smith?
No, thanks. I'll take a black, too.
Now, about this guy, what did you tell him?
I said I'd think over the deal and let him know.
Did you get a chance to see the checks?
A couple. Took him out of a wallet in his coat. I didn't get a good look at him, though.
Uh-huh. How about the man himself, B? Did you ever see him before?
I don't think so.
You know why I picked you?
I've been trying to figure that one myself. The only thing I can think of is the bartender there knows I fell once. He might have given the word.
Has he got any record that you know of?
The bartender?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He likes to talk big, but I don't think he's ever done big time.
Mm-hmm.
You set up anything about meeting the man with the check?
Not definite. I told him I'd think it over. Asked him if I decided to do it, would the offer still be open?
Yeah.
He said it would. Said to look him up.
At the same bar?
Yeah, so I could get in touch with him there.
Any special time?
He didn't name one. I want you to know I wasn't even figuring to go through with it, not for a minute. When he told me the checks were stolen, I thought right away about you. Thought you might want the information. I never figured to get mixed up in it.
Well, we'll buy it.
What are you going to do about it?
Try to find out where the checks came from.
While you were talking to this guy, did he use a name at all?
No, not right out. While we were sitting there, another fellow come in and talked to him. I heard the other guy call him Cecil.
Well, how about this other man? Did you know him?
No.
Never saw him around the bar, huh?
No, I never did.
Well, look, B, there's something I don't understand. If you stop at this bar all the time, how come you haven't seen this Cecil before? Looks like he's a regular customer of the place.
You don't believe me, do you?
I'm just trying to get it straight.
I told you before, I only go in there about 5:30. I'm only in the place maybe 15 minutes, and I leave. There's a lot of time when people are coming in and out that I'm not there.
I see.
Listen, I'm trying to give you guys something for free. If you don't want it, don't worry. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, it's not that, B. Frank and I have been on a thing for the last 4 months here. It's been giving us a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Think it's worth anything?
We're going to check it out.
Did this Cecil give you any idea where he got the checks?
They said they were stolen payroll checks, all made out and ready for endorsement.
Well, if they're made out, what about identification?
Well, he said he had that. All I'd need to put the checks through.
Did he show you any of it?
No, just said that he had it already.
All right, B. I wonder if you'd come back to the office and check through the books for us, see if you can spot this Cecil.
Oh, sure. I'd be glad to help out.
I'll get a bill. We can leave.
I don't want to bring this up, Sergeant.
Yeah, what's that?
I hope you'll understand. I'm not trying to get out of line.
Oh, go ahead, B.
They know me in this bar. This fellow Cecil knows me. What'd happen if I went ahead of the deal?
You mean make the connection for us?
Yeah, line him up. Find out how the gas's working. Then you move in and make the pinch.
Well, we can't ask you to do that.
It's not your idea. I just figured it might be easier all around. You and Mr. Smith will be right there. As soon as I get the information, then it's up to you.
Well, I'll have to check that with the skipper. We'll find out what he thinks of the idea. Might be pretty dangerous.
I thought of that, too. Only one thing bothers me.
What's that?
Someplace along the line, I'm going to have to tell this joker that I don't go for the deal. He's going to find out I'm working with you. When he does, be there.
We returned to the office and made arrangements to meet Beatrice Dowling the next day. Frank and I got the name and description of the bartender at the place where the Dowling woman said she'd been approached. We ran it through R&I, but we were not able to find a record for the man. The next morning, we met with Captain Welsh and told him of the idea. He agreed that it appeared to be the only way we had of stopping the suspect. We contacted Miss Dowling and made arrangements for her to be kept under constant surveillance. The same day, Thursday, July 12th at 5:20 p.m., she entered the bar. Frank and I were parked down the street in our car.
How about it? See the doorway?
Well, all we do now is wait.
Yeah. Here. You want a cigarette?
I got one.
Oh.
What's the matter? You got a cigarette?
Yeah. You got one I can have?
Just somewhere in here, sure. Here.
Thanks. Oh, I'll sure be glad to get home.
Well.
Yeah. Fay and me had a big argument last night.
Is that right? What's the matter now?
Oh, I came home. I guess about 7:30, around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right after dinner, I got ready for bed. That's when I saw it. I should have known right from the start.
Should have known what?
Well, Fay fixed Swedish meatballs for dinner.
Again, huh?
Right then, I should have known. That's what had happened. You know, she always figures they'll soften me up so I won't mind.
Well, what'd she buy this time?
A new bedroom set. King-size bed, Joe. Mattress, springs, a couple of those new rubber pillows, you know, those bouncy spongy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, I took one look at them, and naturally, the roof went off.
You mean she bought the whole thing, huh?
She refurnished the whole room.
Cost a lot of money, didn't it?
That's what I thought. I was pretty sore about it, too, and we had a few words. I guess it was pretty bad. The time I got calmed down, she was asleep. Then I saw the bill. Couldn't believe it. You wouldn't either, Joe. It wasn't big at all.
All right.
Yeah. I sure slept good. Think I could make it, Joe.
What's that?
You know how I'm always talking about sleeping for a week?
Yeah.
Well, the way I slept last night, I think I could make it. You know something I'd sure like to try?
Oh, you're going to have to wait to try. Take a look down there.
Huh?
The bar. Beatrice is coming out.
Oh, yeah. A couple of guys with her. They're acting kind of funny, aren't they?
Yeah.
The way they're shoving her around?
There's only one reason for that.
Yeah?
They found out about us. Frank and I followed the three people down the street. A half a block from the bar, they got into a black Oldsmobile sedan and pulled out into the line of traffic. We kept them under surveillance while they drove to the downtown area. We called communications and got a rolling make on the car. It was registered to a Cecil Maddox, 2482 North Alexandria in Hollywood. We requested that Maddox be checked through R&I, and we found that he'd been arrested twice before on charges of grand theft, and that he'd served one term at San Quentin and one term at Folsom Penitentiary. At the corner of Broadway and Clay Streets, the trio pulled into a parking lot, and they left the car. Frank and I parked our unit and followed them to a stationery store. From the street, we could see Maddox talk to a salesman, while the other man walked up to a display of typewriters. He took a slip of paper from his pocket and apparently tried the machine. By the time he was finished, Maddox had gotten through talking to the clerk, and they used the same piece of paper to try a check protector. During this operation, Beatrice Dowling stood by and waited for him. Finally, the three of them left the store and walked 2 blocks east to a large market. There, we saw Maddox hand the Dowling woman an envelope. After that, she entered the store and came back a few minutes later. Frank and I were about 10 feet from the pair of checkmen when the woman returned.
It is.
How'd it go?
He said, here's the money.
Okay, let's go to a bar. We'll make the split.
Half this is mine.
That's the way we set up. Let's go.
Come on, Frank. All right, Maddox, hold it up.
Cool. What's this all about?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
For what? Go ahead. Spell out the beef.
How's forgery fit?
I don't know. You won't hang it on me.
Don't book it, mister. You'll get short odds.
It's the wrong beef. I won't
You
buy
already
it.
have.
Huh?
You paid for it with a bad check. The 2 suspects were taken to the city hall. The second man was identified as Raymond Johnstone. We checked him through records and identification, and we found that he'd had a long felony record. He'd served sentences in both San Quentin and Folsom, and from the record we found that he was in Folsom at the time Maddox was serving his term. We talked to Johnston for an hour, but he refused to admit any complicity in the forgeries. 9:15 p.m., Officers Ferguson and Regan went out to the address we'd gotten for Maddox, and Frank and I talked to the suspect in the interrogation room. All right, come on, Maddox, empty your pockets.
What for?
Because we want you to.
Do I get the stuff back?
Put it on the table.
I haven't got anything. Nothing you want.
Well, you let us figure that one.
Come on the table.
There's a wallet. Handkerchief. Change. Package of gum and keys, and that's it.
All right, now the coat pockets.
Cigarettes. Lighter. Some more change and parking stuff.
Inside pockets, too.
There's nothing there you'd be interested in.
Inside pockets.
A couple of letters, that's all.
All right, let's take a look. Your true name, Cecil James Maddox?
Yeah.
Who's this stuff belong to?
I don't know anything about it.
Driver's license, Social Security card, oil company credit card. These don't belong to you, do they?
Take a good look, cop. You see my name on them?
We found them in your pockets.
Cleaner must have left
Oh,
them.
come off it, Maddox. We got you nailed and you know it.
You got to show me.
All right, these other envelopes here. Same thing on all of them. Now, where'd you get them?
I told you, I got a sloppy cleaner.
Frank, you want to check, see if Fergie's back?
Yeah, sure.
You got any money in the wallet?
Couple of bucks.
Take it out.
Sure. I'll give it to you.
Keep it in your hands. Just give me the wallet.
You find anything interesting in there, and I'll split it with
Yeah,
you.
sure. How about these checks? Where'd you get them?
I forget.
Well, you better start remembering, mister.
I'm trying. It just isn't working out.
Pretty important that you do.
I think I found them.
Where?
I don't remember.
You turn up with $500 worth of checks and you don't know where you got them, huh?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
Oh, what about this receipt? What's it for?
I don't know.
It's in your wallet. You must have put it there.
Look at the back. There's a phone number on it. Maybe that's why I kept it.
No phone number here.
Well, then I can't tell you where I got it. I guess I've been carrying it around for a long time.
Dated a couple of months ago.
That's a long time.
Look, what are you trying to prove with this innocent pitch? You know we got you going in. We're going to make a forgery complaint stick. Now, why are you trying to make it harder?
I don't think you can trip me for the beef.
There's a couple of officers over at your apartment now. If they come up with the press you used to print up the checks and the identification, you've had it, mister.
If they find the press.
That's right.
Only one big hole in the fairy tale.
That's so.
I haven't got a press. I don't know where I got those checks. I think I bought them. You try to take me to court on that kind of evidence, and you'll make the front page as the dumbest cop of the year.
Joe? Yeah? Got something for you. You wait here, Maddox.
Only one door, and you're in front of that. I'm not going anyplace.
Just sit still. Yeah.
How's it going?
Not too good. He won't cop out. How'd you do?
Well, I talked to Fergie. They went over to Maddox's apartment.
Yeah.
They didn't find anything.
We went back into the interrogation room and we talked to the suspect. He'd admit nothing. We talked to Raymond Johnstone, but he refused to cooperate with us. A thorough search was made of their car, but we failed to turn up anything new. We contacted the printer who'd made up the receipt blanks. He checked his records, and he was able to give us the address of the place that had ordered them. Officers Ferguson, Regan, Frank, and I drove out to the place. It was a cheap hotel located on East 7th. We checked with the desk clerk and showed him the receipt. He told us that two men answering the descriptions of the suspects had rented a room 2 months previously. He went on to say that there was a third man with a pair and that he was in the room at the time. We asked about luggage, and the clerk said that the trio had moved in several large trunks. We got the room number, and while Ferguson and Regan covered the rear of the building, Frank and I went up to the room.
Down this way.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Paul Hadley?
Yeah, that's right. What do you want?
I'd like to talk to you.
I'm kind of busy right now. What's it about?
Police officers.
Get out of here. All right, get out. You got no call to bust in here. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Then why'd you try to keep us out?
I just don't like cops running all over the place.
Where's that door go?
Bedroom, but there ain't nothing in there that concerns you.
I'll take a look.
You stay out of there. What's this all about anyway? What are you cops trying to build?
How about it, Frank?
Take a look.
Come on, Hadley, over here. Press and everything, huh?
I do a little printing for the neighborhood people. There's nothing that concern you.
You do work for the Department of Motor Vehicles, too?
What?
These driver's license blanks, what are they for?
Who tipped you?
What?
Who told you about the plant? Who told you?
Does that make any difference?
You bet it does. All the difference in the world. I don't know what they told you, but I'm not going to take the beef alone. I'm not going to take it alone.
That's so?
Yeah. You go back and tell Cecil and Ray that they're going with me. I'm not going to carry this by myself. You tell them it, will you?
Sure.
Phony deal anyway. I sit here with the press, all the checks. Anything goes wrong, I'm the one that stands for it. They're out with the money. One-sided, that's what it is. They get the kicks, I get the work. One-sided.
No, not this time.
Huh?
You're all going to come out even.
Cecil James Maddox, Raymond Richard Johnstone, and Paul Milton Hadley were tried and convicted on 18 counts of forgery. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Forgery is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for not more than 1 year, or by imprisonment for not more than 14 years in the state penitentiary.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Regan. I get 10 a day and expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, the Lion's Eye, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the Pilgrim's Progress.
The Cosmopolitan Building, 7th Street near Olive, downtown L.A. A mess of granite thrown together by an architect who must have taken his degree on the rock pile at Leavenworth. It's up on the 3rd floor, room 308, right next to a credit dentist who shares his office with a collection agency. On the other side, there's a school for models, and the Lion's got sore eyes trying to see through that cloudy glass. International Detective Bureau, Anthony J. Lyon, President. He's also Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer. I work for him. Well, the office isn't much, but there's enough elbow room for a client to write a check. I went to the office Friday night about 5:20 answering the Lion's call. He was sitting behind the desk sucking on a quarter cigar. He looked real pleased, like a fat lady locked in a cream puff factory.
Man I know had a baby. Plumber named Broman or Groman or something like that.
Mazel tov.
Cancel any arrangements you got for the night. I got something for you to do. Got your car?
It's in the lot.
Gas it up. You're taking a trip.
Where to?
Calabasas. A man wants to see you.
I got no friends out there.
Friend of mine named Hendricks. He counts his money with an adding machine, and his finger's always swollen.
What's the problem?
I don't know. He didn't say. He just called and told me to send out a man.
How much did he give you for a retainer?
When an important man like Hendricks calls, you don't insult him by asking for money.
Oh, stop it, will you? You're the kind of guy who'd steal pennies on a parking meter.
That's enough, Regan.
If one of them turned up empty, you'd sue the city.
Here's the Hendricks address. Now get out there.
All right.
Regan.
Yeah?
Remember, do a good job, and I'll give you Thanksgiving off, and I'll pay you.
With what, cranberries? Well, I headed out Beverly and then up through Hollywood. You know, it's only November, but Santa Claus is breaking out all over the boulevard. I fought my way over Cahuenga Pass, and by the time I was dodging station wagons on Ventura, it was dark. Calabasas is a place with a couple of service stations, a hot dog stand, and a few road signs full of buckshot. The Hendricks place turned out to be about 5 miles down a road that the Indians built for hauling firewater. I guess they couldn't keep the cork in. But the house itself was strictly prohibition stuff. Big pile of slate roof and leaded windows. It looked dark and lonesome. I figured somebody had their holidays mixed.
Hiya, Pilgrim.
It was a big fat guy. He was holding a 6-foot gun in the shape of a straightened-out tuba. He came closer, and I could see his hat. It was a high one with a buckle on it. He was dressed in black, and he had buckles all over him. I figured that I'd been eating too much Quaker Oats.
What's the matter, Pilgrim? A little shooting make you nervous?
That's a big gun there.
Shoots musket balls. Good for Indians.
Well, I'm no Indian.
Oh, I wasn't aiming at you.
Well, that gun wouldn't know the difference.
It's a blunderbuss. Great weapon.
Is it?
I'll show you. So you prop it up on a crutch.
Just keep fooling with that thing, and we'll both need one.
Now, let's be quiet here. Load the barrel. Lots of powder.
Look, why don't you give that thing back to the museum?
See, that's it. More powder. Gotta use lots of this black powder.
Buster, you need black coffee. Come on, give me that thing before it blows up in your face. You broke a window.
Oh, it's all right. It was only the attic.
You live here?
Of course not, Pilgrim. I'm Miles Sandys.
Well, where's the rest of the party?
All inside, talking to John Olden.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you just think I'm kidding, don't you? Pilgrim, you just haven't got the Mayflower spirit.
No, you drank it all.
It's just cider. Nothing better on a cold New England night.
Thanksgiving's not for a week. Come on, get off it.
Hark.
What's the matter? Put that down.
I'm not going to shoot him. He's a friendly type.
Brother Regan?
Yeah?
If thou wilt follow me, please.
Oh, you too, huh?
I beg your pardon.
Okay.
Well, so long, Pilgrim.
Yeah, keep your powder dry, Sandy.
I'll see you on Plymouth Rock.
Okay, this way, Brother Regan.
Now, look, Sunshine, you work here.
My name is Phelps.
Why don't you lock that guy up?
I'd be outnumbered, sir. 21, Pilgrim.
Bad winter. They make you wear those corduroy knickers?
Knee breeches, sir. It was Priscilla's idea.
You need a union.
I need more shapely legs. Through here.
Well, it's quite a place you got.
Well, it looks better without the decorations, sir.
Yeah. How do you keep from stepping on these pumpkins?
It's only when they use them for bowling that it's difficult.
Come on, fill me in. What's this all about?
Thanksgiving, sir. 1621. Okay, this room here, sir. Go right in.
Okay.
Shut the door. Shut it.
Mr. Hendricks around?
He's not here. Come over, sit down.
Who are you, Priscilla?
Please don't say another word of that silly rigmarole or I'll start screaming.
Yeah, well, I could use a little yell myself.
I'm Agnes. I'm Mrs. Hendricks. Or Agnes.
It doesn't make any difference.
Does to my friends. Didn't I say sit down?
Yes, you did, and I didn't. So you don't like the party, huh?
I'm not much of a Puritan, Mr. Regan.
Well, that Great Dane says the masquerade was your idea.
Phelps is stupid. This goes on all weekend, Mr. Regan. It's called a turkey shoot.
Yeah, so that's it. Who gets the bird?
The Pilgrim fathers. My husband's friends. They ought to be shot, every one of them.
Yeah, well, I'm not from the SPCA.
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Regan. I like you.
That's not the point.
I'll bore you.
Your husband might.
Him. He's crazy, Mr. Regan. Crazy as the things he does. Shooting, drinking, spending money.
A hard life.
I don't know how I stood it for as long as I have. My lawyer says I'm the most patient woman in the world.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the conversation, Miss Hendricks.
Why did my husband send for you?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You do know. Tell me.
I don't know.
Please. You don't realize what kind of a man my husband can be.
I never met him.
You don't know how much I need help. How lonely I am.
Well, where is he?
Tell you if you promise to come back to me.
No, I'll write you a letter.
He's out in the shed, other side of the patio.
Thanks.
I wouldn't act this way if I weren't so frightened. You don't know what it is to be frightened all the time.
No, but I'm learning.
I wish you'd stick around, Mr. Regan.
Well, thanks, Miss Hendricks, but the pin feathers are a little sharp. Miss Hendricks went back to her worrying, and I wound my way through the house looking for the back entrance. My legs got tired before it finally showed on the other side of the pantry. It poured out into a flagstone patio as big as a palladium. A walk took me to a shed. It was a two-story redwood place that must have made a loud noise on the cash register, and alongside, fenced in with chicken wire, was a whole population of turkeys. Well, I went into the shed. A little round-faced guy with pink skin was leaning over a barrel of cider. He wore a blue silk smoking jacket with gold initials EH on the pocket. When he caught my footsteps, his head bobbed up, and he gave me a deep look like he was trying to see the back of my eyeballs.
Yes?
I'm Regan, International Detective Bureau.
Oh, I've been expecting you. I'm Hendricks.
Yeah, no. Why the fireworks?
Huh? Oh. Miles Standish. Just having fun. It's a party, you know. Big party we're having here.
Yeah, well, the neighbors will complain.
Ah, neighbors. None for miles around. That's why I like it out here. Have trouble finding me?
You ought to put up signs.
Signs? Glass of cider, Regan? Carefully. Glass.
I'm not thirsty.
Yeah. That's not what it's for. Strong kind. Oh, go on. Thanksgiving soon. Get the spirit.
No, I can hold out till Thursday.
Suit yourself. Excuse me. Good. Yeah. It's going to be quite a party here, you know.
Your wife's got a different version.
Oh, you spoke to her?
Yeah.
You were told to come out here to see me?
I got sidetracked.
It's not good for a man in your position.
All right, Hendricks, why am I here?
What'd she say to you?
I forgot.
Regan, you're making me angry.
Now, look, mister, you didn't get me out here to make a pilgrim out of me.
No, of course not. Fine woman, Mrs. Hendricks. We've been married for years, you know, happily. Fine little woman.
Still, she makes me a little nervous at times.
You like the sound of guns going off?
She shouldn't get so excited. Boys just having little fun. It's only once a year. What's wrong with that?
Come on, now, what's the job?
Didn't the lion tell you?
He said you would.
Oh, well. Nothing to be so mysterious about. I've just got a package I want you to take to. Here it is. A turkey.
You got me all the way out here to play escort to that bird?
Well, I just want to be friendly. Here. Now, go on. It's a long way back to L.A., and you want to be there for Thanksgiving.
What's the difference? I got the turkey. I can celebrate any time. 60 miles to do a delivery job, bird. Well, I wandered back to my car, and I listened to the crickets and the gunshots try to outdo each other. And then I dumped the turkey into the back seat, and I started the car down the drive. I just zoned it around the bend when the headlights caught a pair of buckled shoes and black knee breeches. Miles Standish was lying face down in the dirt, and there was a wet shine on his side. It was breathing hard. The blunderbuss was lying beside him, and I figured that he blew out the wrong end. I would have gone for the Hendricks phone and the doctor, but I got a good look at the holes in him, and I headed for a hospital instead. The blunderbuss may have been kicking up a fuss, but the holes in Miles Standish were 20th century, about the size of a .32. Well, I turned him over to an emergency hospital, and I put a call into the sheriff's office. I gave the story to Lieutenant Robinson, and then I headed back toward town. At the Lion's place, the lights were still on, so I figured he didn't have company. I rapped on the door, and he flung it open before the echo could die away. He had a carving knife in one hand, and he was wearing an apron. His eyes were big, and he had an eager look like a college couple on Mulholland Drive.
Regan, you're back.
Oh, now that takes a big brain.
I've been waiting for you. You know, I had a chance to go to a classy party tonight. Russian caviar and champagne and favors to all the guests. You know why I didn't go?
You lost your crash suit, huh?
I said to myself, is it fair to go out and have a good time while my employee is working real hard for international detectives?
And the answer came out yes, but the party was called off.
Well, as a matter of fact, it was. But I wouldn't have gone anyway. Where is it?
Where's what?
The package from Hendricks.
Now, you can change your plans, big shot. You're getting a bundle of trouble instead.
What do you mean?
Turkeys aren't the only thing they're knocking off out on that ranch.
Huh?
Somebody's handy with a .32, and he's found a target.
You've been drinking?
Check the county emergency hospital. They'll show you the holes.
I send you out on a simple little job, and you come back with a crazy story about a shooting. You're out of your mind.
Now, listen, there's a big smell out in Calabasas.
What about my turkey?
The sheriff's office are going to have a lot of questions. You got the answers?
I don't know anything. I was miles away.
Well, then find out something. Check into the guy who shot. Find out who he is, what he does, and what he was doing out at Hendricks.
Where you going?
To scratch around in the Hendricks closet. They tell different stories about their wedded bliss.
Hey, Regan.
Yeah?
Where's my turkey?
It's too rich for your blood, Fatso. Stick to chicken. Well, I left him standing there with his apron hanging out. Miles Standish might get enough wind to do that extra hole to say who shot him, but more likely not. Anyway, with the bucket load he had, he would have sworn it was the last of the Mohicans. But there was an angle to that Hendricks woman, even if it didn't show. So I walked up the street to where my car was nuzzling a lamppost. And the turkey and I were just going to wake up a newspaper office, only something changed my mind. A newspaper. It was wrapped around a bundle, and the bundle was under a guy's arm, and the arm was shutting the door of my car. Good evening, Pop.
Hi.
Going somewhere?
Sure. Find a place to sleep, that's all.
Want a cigarette?
Say, I don't mind if I do. Thought you was a bull for a minute. You mind if I take two?
No, help yourself.
My brother smokes two. And not much in the streets these days.
Yeah, it's bad all over.
Well, something ought to be done.
No, stick around, Pop.
No, Sonny. You give me smokes. I don't hit you for cash. It's a rule I got.
I'll make the touch.
What's that?
What's in the newspaper?
Russia.
Inside.
Yeah, the funny paper.
Yeah, sure.
Well, now take it easy, boss. The guy's got a right to his privacy.
You weren't sleeping in my car.
Oh, so that's it, huh? Yours, huh? Small world, ain't it?
Yeah, come on, let's unwrap.
Now, it's Thanksgiving, Mac. Ain't you heard of Thanksgiving?
I'm going to plug my ears. Give.
Now, please, Mac, show me the spirit. Once in my life, both drumsticks.
Now, stop it, you're breaking my heart.
I mean it, Mac. Let me have it. I'll break the wishbone for you, Sonny. I will. You ain't got no use for all that meat, have you? Oh, you have, huh? Oh, so long, Mac.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold it.
No, let go of my arm.
That was a pretty dance, but you should have changed your shoes.
What's that?
You didn't get those buckles in the bread line. Oh. Now, come on, change the record. Who are you?
That's none of your business. Let go.
I said talk.
I will not.
You're from the Hendricks place, aren't you? You're from the...
Thank you, Phelps.
That's all right. Got the bird?
Sure. Let's go.
Yeah. Nighty-night, Pilgrim.
You are listening to the story of the Pilgrim's Progress, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Commissions are still available in the Army Nurse Corps. Graduate registered nurses between the ages of 21 and 45 may qualify for service with this fine organization. If you are interested in joining the Army Nurse Corps and believe you qualify for a commission, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to Jeff Regan, Investigator, and the story of the Pilgrim's Progress.
Well, none of it made sense. The Lions sent me out to pick up a turkey on the Hendricks Ranch in Calabasas, and the Mr. and Mrs. were having an old-fashioned turkey shoot, and all the guests carried blunderbusses and dressed like pilgrims. Only it wasn't just the turkeys who were acting as targets. One of the pilgrims ended up with some .32 caliber holes in them. And then the Hendricks lackey and a buddy shoved a gun at me and stole the lion's bird. Well, I picked myself up and I went home. A heavy man was doing a heist job on my icebox. He was pouring himself a glass of milk to wash down a sandwich he was munching on.
Hi, Regan.
Go right ahead. Help yourself.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait, and I was getting hungry.
There's a restaurant just up the block.
I like it better this way, homemade. Fix you a sandwich? Pretty good deviled ham.
Come on, let's close the box and open your mouth, buddy.
Why not? We had a date, remember? Robertson, Sheriff's Office.
That's what I figured.
You don't mind me coming in like this, do you?
What if I did?
I'd leave. Sanctity of the home, you know. You can throw me out even though I got a badge.
Let's cut away the fat, mister. What do you want?
Answers to a couple of questions. What were you doing at the Hendricks place?
Picking up a turkey?
Well, that's a new one.
Now, look, you ask him. I'll answer him. Never mind the feature page.
How long have you known the Hendricks?
Never met him before.
Wrong answer.
What do you mean?
We found this out at the Hendricks house. A page torn out of the yellow directory with a red circle around International Detective.
Well, that doesn't say a thing.
Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm still scratching around.
It'll ruin your manicure.
You know, Regan, you don't seem to realize the seriousness of this. That pilgrim you dragged in died.
Well, I figured.
We don't like unsolved murders messing up our record books.
Well, then you're wasting your time here.
I got lots of it. I don't come up for pension for 12 more years. What was that pilgrim's name?
He gave me Miles Standish.
Sounds like a fake.
Well, don't count on it. I once knew a John Smith.
Give me the real name.
I don't have it.
All right. He's an out-of-town boy, but we'll track him down. Now, straighten out something for me, Regan. How long did you say you knew the Hendricks?
Now, look, I gave this to you once. Nothing's changed.
How come we find a $5,000 check in that joker's pocket made out of cash and signed by Hendricks? Go ahead, answer. Just don't make a date. You may not be available.
Yeah?
Mr. Regan, this is Mrs. Hendricks. I must see you right away.
Who did you say?
Mrs. Hendricks, you remember?
Charlie? No, there's no Charlie here. You must have the wrong number.
Sort of annoying, isn't it, Regan, when you get a wrong number late at night?
Well, it happens.
Sure it does. Happened to me once.
Anything else you want?
Another deviled ham sandwich?
Kitchen's closed.
Pretty rotten hospitality.
Well, you weren't asked.
Okay, I gotta move anyway. See you later, Regan. Keep the mud off your shoes.
ER3408.
Hello?
Mrs. Hendricks, this is Regan.
I just called you.
Well, I couldn't talk. What do you want?
Can you come out, Mr. Regan? Right away.
You still lonely?
Things aren't going well.
Murder's like that.
I've got to talk to somebody. Won't you please come?
Give me a reason.
I can tell you some things now I couldn't mention before.
Like why your husband wrote a $5,000 check to the dead man?
Check? But there must be some mistake.
What do you mean?
My husband couldn't write a check that large. He doesn't have any money of his own. It's all in my name.
All right. Put a lantern in the window, lady. I'll need some light. Well, I headed out there fast. But when I raised a racket with a brass knocker, nothing happened. I tried a window, and a couple of scratches later, I was in the hall. The place looked empty, like the Rose Bowl on January 2nd. I found Miss Hendrick's room, where I talked to her and stepped inside. The decorations were different.
Sheriff's office. Robinson.
This is Regan. I got something for you.
It better be good.
You're going into overtime.
What do you mean?
Bring some boys out to the Hendricks place with a wet rag. Somebody blew out Mr. Hendricks' fuse. Well, I backed out of the room and I made it to the bar trying to turn up a bottle. In the corner, something else turned up instead. Another dead body. The turkey Phelps and his buddy had stolen from me. Somebody real eager had done a carving job on it before it was even cooked. They'd torn it apart like they were looking for something. Well, it was morning before the sheriff's boys cleaned up the Hendricks mess when we got back to town. Robinson had a few more questions, but I was still short on the answers. Ballistics had one, though. Same gun did the job on both Miles Standish and Hendricks. And that's all. Homicide was getting places in a hurry, like a snail hauling a piano. Well, the lion was waiting for me outside the sheriff's office, and he pulled me to the side. His eyes were lit up like a pinball machine, and you could tell he'd caught the scent of a greenback.
They tricked you okay, Regan?
Good enough.
No rough stuff?
Oh, nothing that shows, no.
We're in luck. I've been turning up things. We've been playing the wrong horse.
Well, that figures you're good at picking losers.
Hendricks is a piker, a social climber.
He's a dead one.
I'll send him flowers. But I'm telling you, he could only write checks for 5 G's.
With a big bounce.
Somebody else in this thing can write bigger ones.
Well, let me guess who.
Mrs. Hendricks, that's who. I tell you, Regan, it pays to keep up your connections.
How high can she go?
The sky's below sea level.
What else you got?
Standish is a phony moniker.
That's grammar school.
Real name Jeffrey Kelly, age 42. He's a wholesale jeweler. He had a little business with Mrs. H. $250,000 worth.
That's going to run up his taxes.
He can handle it.
What did he do for her?
I drew a blank, but he deposited her certified check in the bank yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. How does Phelps figure?
I don't know.
Well, who's the little man in the big overcoat?
I can't do everything. You got to do some work, too.
Yeah, sure.
Now, find Mrs. Hendricks. Offer her the services of international detective at our usual nominal rate, but don't underplay it. Now, get busy.
Where are you going?
Home to bed. A man's got to get some sleep.
Well, the time was ticking out, but the game wasn't over yet. I figured to have a fast finish, and the Lion had a pretty good idea about casting some shut-eye. So I moved to the office and to stretch out on the couch. But through the glass, I could see there was a light on. Company was inside.
Crestview 2045. Phelps, no luck. I looked all over. I told you, I saw the place apart. Nothing's here. I'm trying my best. Stop hopping. Oh, well, it must be someplace else. Okay, right away.
Leave a nickel, Buster.
Huh? Oh, Regan.
You looking for something?
You, Pilgrim.
What else?
Plymouth Rock.
Come on, punk, level it.
That coax me.
All right, Nickers, you've been crying for this. Now, flatten out. Well, it felt good to watch the big guy fall. He folded in like a steeple in an earthquake. When his head bounced on the Lion's carpet, it figured he was due for a long sleep, so I went through his pockets. Ticket stubs from the prize fights, the gun, and the pocket knife I dumped into the safe. There was a pass to the Dons game on November 25th. He must have swiped that from his boss, so I filed that in the Lion's desk for future reference. But this guy Phelps had taken orders from somebody besides Hendricks. I just heard him do it on the phone. So when I turned up an old envelope with 832 North Palm scratched in the back, I crossed my fingers. He'd been calling a Crestview number, and the phone book said that I had a lead. North Palm was in the Crestview exchange area. So I called for the cops to sweep up Brother Phelps, and I climbed back onto my broomstick. I drove out through Beverly Hills. I wound up in front of a big Spanish house with potted $10 bills on the driveway. There was a new Nash sticking out of the garage, and I walked around to take a look. But honest John had beat me to it.
Who's there?
Now, stick around. I want to talk to you.
Stand back. Stand back.
You like cars, don't you? Maybe you want a hot rod.
No, you don't. Get away from me.
Hey. Well, it was the little turkey fan that I'd last seen in an overcoat. Phelps' buddy. He took out of there like a cow in deer season, so I let him go. No license. Well, I took a look around the car he'd been sniffing, but nothing showed except the registration. It said Mrs. Agnes Hendricks. I went to the house and rang the doorbell, and she answered.
Oh, Oh, it's you. Mr. Regan.
All right, I'll ask myself in.
Yes, come in.
Who are you expecting, John Alden?
No, I'm glad to see you.
You know, I don't like girls who break dates.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I couldn't help it. I couldn't wait for you to come all the way to Calabasas.
You got impatient on account of a body in the house.
You saw him?
Yeah, after I tripped over him in your room.
I didn't do it.
Did I say you did?
You've got to believe me.
Relax. I look like a jury. You got multiple vision.
Oh, Mr. Regan, I was so frightened. I didn't know which way to turn.
We've been through all that woman driver routine. You don't like your husband. You wanted to get rid of him.
But only in Reno.
All right, now let's get back to page 1. You gave 250 G's to a jeweler named Kelly. You bought a rock.
What?
A rock, Plymouth rock. It's a diamond. It's got to be.
Well,
why'd you do it? Who'd you buy it for?
Myself. My lawyer said I should get it for myself, that's all.
He likes you pretty, huh?
No, it was a community property thing. He said I could keep my husband from knowing how much money I had when he asked for a divorce settlement.
Only hubby got wind of the deal.
I guess so.
You're making sense. Only why did he write a check to Kelly?
Well, it was a small one. It must have been for a paste imitation, don't you think?
It's not my business. Keep dealing.
I mean, maybe he planned on switching them and getting my real one.
That's been done.
But he actually did it. Because all through this, there's been a diamond in the place where I always keep it.
All right, you got a strong boy, Phelps. Had him out looking for the real diamond.
What?
And the other guy, the old man, was out in the garage.
No.
Phelps tore up my office, phoned here to you.
Mr. Regan.
Now, look, there's been 2 guys killed.
Mr. Regan.
Good evening, Pilgrim.
Where's your overcoat?
Stand still, please.
Yeah, my foot's in a crack.
Mr. Regan, this is John Alden.
Oh, can it, will you? I've seen him act one part already.
That's true. Mine is the only name that's real. This is my house, Mr. Regan.
Lawyer?
Yes, I came here to see him, Mr. Regan. I just got here before you
Be
did.
quiet, Agnes.
Well, I got it all now.
You won't keep it.
Phelps took his orders from you.
It's a waste of testimony.
You started this. Spotted the gem switch. Figured to cash in.
You're losing your chip.
Shut up, will you? I got aces. Hendricks outfoxed you. You never found the real diamond.
Five in the hand draws blood.
Mr. Alden, don't...
Now, you keep out of this, Agnes.
She's not in it. You are.
That's all, Regan.
All right, come on, drop it. Drop it.
Go with that.
I guess I hit him with the paste one.
Huh?
Look, the diamond, it broke.
Yeah.
It was just luck. I have the other one, too. I thought Alden was honest. I came to tell him I found it in my husband's cider.
Well, that tears it. Come on, Priscilla. That docks the Mayflower. Well, the whole thing folded in like an elephant on a pogo stick. Yeah, the lawyer did it all right, both of them. When he spotted what Hendricks was up to with that diamond switch, he moved in, but not for his client. The jeweler, Miles Standish, alias Kelly, got bumped because he was the only one who could tell the real diamond from a phony. But Hendricks got wise to the muscle act, and so he got shot. Well, the lion was real happy the way it worked out. That dame with the nerves wrote him a check. So he invited me out to Thanksgiving dinner. He offered me any part of the turkey that I wanted. I told him, but I got it anyway.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by Larry Roman and Jackson Gillis. Produced by Sterling Tracy. Featured in tonight's story were Mary Lansing, Marvin Miller, Paul Frees, and Paul DeBug. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You've been looking for a suspect in a market robbery for 3 weeks. Finally, an informant calls you with information. Your job? Check it out.
It was Tuesday, February 17th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:56 by the time we parked our car and got to 4278 Winona, the Balinese room.
Hi, Joe, Frank.
Van, how's it going?
I'm walking around, about all I can expect. Sit down.
Thank you.
Get you anything?
No, thanks.
No, thanks. Just made a fresh pot of coffee in back. Like a cup?
Yeah, I might go for one.
How about you, Frank?
Sure.
I'll get it. Hey, you both take it black, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah, man.
What was it you wanted to talk to us about?
What?
I say, what was it you wanted to see us about?
Just a minute. I'll be right with you. Hey, you want to take one of these cups?
Yeah. Here, let me give you a hand there.
All right.
Here you go, Frank.
Thanks.
What do you got for us, Van?
I read in the paper a couple of weeks ago where you had a stick-up at that big market out in the valley. Is that right?
Yeah. Thief made it with close to $7,000.
You got anything on it? Well, what'd the guy look like?
Well, the description we got was 28 to 30, 5'8", 5'10", 145 pounds, dark hair, dark eyes. He was wearing a leather jacket and denim pants. It was all in the paper, Van.
Well, it might fit then. All except the clothes.
Huh?
There's been a bohunk hanging around here the last couple of weeks. Got a roll that'd make a horse pretty sick.
Yeah?
The funny part is that I've seen him around here for a year, and he never had 2 dimes to rub together. All of a sudden, he turns up loaded. Popping for drinks all over the place. Loaded down with expensive watches, good clothes, everything that goes with money.
What's his name, you know?
Well, I don't know the whole thing. Been calling him Nick. That's all I know.
He matches the description pretty close, huh?
All except the clothes. Rags he's carrying now are the best. Don't look like they come from plain racks.
Mm-hmm. Did you come up with any kind of a story about the money?
No, I kind of hinted at it a couple of times, you know, in a joking sort of way. I didn't want to be too nosy.
Yeah, I know.
All he says is that he met the locksmith to Fort Knox. Passed it off as a big joke. Said he found the easy way to live.
Might be our man.
You have any close friends?
No, Joe. He plays it kind of solo. He dated Madge a couple of times.
Who's Madge?
She's the waitress here. Comes in about 6. She works the tables in back.
Mm-hmm. Did she tell you anything about the guy?
No, I asked her, but she says they had dinner, took in a couple of clubs, and I took her home. Played it straight all evening.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of worried Madge for a couple of days after. Figured she was kind of slipping a little.
You didn't say anything to her, huh?
No kind of a tip-off. Played it real straight, like I said.
Do you have a job?
Well, not so as you'd notice. Doesn't seem to have any working hours. Used to walk in here at all hours.
Got any other friends?
No close ones. He'd buy drinks for anybody that was around when he was popping, but he never came in with nobody. He never left with anybody.
You seen him around lately?
No, not for a couple of days.
Got any idea where he lives?
No, I don't think he pads down here in the neighborhood.
How about a car?
No go. All the time I saw him, he rode cabs. Took him here and left in them.
Well, last time he left, he said where he was going?
No, just shoved off. Said he might not be around for a couple of days and have a hot cup of Irish coffee waiting for him when he got back.
What's Irish coffee?
Oh, it's a new drink. I got it from a friend of mine up in San Francisco. A cup of coffee, Irish whiskey, topped with a jolt of whipped cream. This Nick drank them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the whole place on him. You come in some night, we got more coffee cups on the bar than glasses.
Didn't give you any idea where he was going, did he?
Well, if he threw it, I didn't hear it.
Anybody around the place you might have talked to?
Well, I can't give you no names. Might talk to Madge. I don't think she'll come up with anything, but you can try.
What time did you say she came in?
6. That's when she's supposed to check in. Once in a while she's late, but she's supposed to have her apron on about 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Van, thanks for the call. We'll be back.
Now, if this Nick comes in, give us the ring, will you?
Sure, if he's in town, he'll be back.
Yeah?
Sure. He's all the time telling me we got the best Irish coffee in town. That's all he drinks, so it figures he'll be here to get some. Right away I see him, I'll give you a call.
All right, thanks, man.
I sure hope it's the guy you're after.
Yeah, so do we.
7 G's, a lot of money. You can buy an awful lot with that.
Well, we better take it easy.
Yeah?
You better not hit that Irish coffee too hard. 3 weeks previously, on Monday, January 19th at 9:40 a.m., a masked man had walked into a supermarket at the corner of Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Camarillo Street and held up the store for a total of $7,367. The alarm had gone out immediately, but the holdup man succeeded in getting out of the area. All routine procedure had been followed, but it resulted in no information to put us any closer to the thief. Local broadcasts and APBs had been gotten out. The description of the thief had been taken and checked through the staff's office. All leads had been followed up without result. The phone call from the bartender appeared to be our first break in the case. Frank and I went back to the city hall and checked the name Nick and the description through the moniker file in R&I. There were only 4 possibles turned over to her. We showed the mugshots to the bartender, but he couldn't give us an identification. We got the home address of Madge, the cocktail waitress, and we went out to see her. The landlady told us that she wasn't home and that when the girl had left, she said she'd go straight to work. We waited for her at the bar, but after talking to her, we had no additional information to work with. The following morning, we began to canvass the neighborhood. We talked to shopkeepers and store owners. In several clothing stores, we found clerks who thought they remembered the man, but they were unable to give us any information on him. Late that afternoon, we talked to a jeweler. We asked if he had a customer who might fit the description of the suspect.
Yes, sir. Seems to me I remember a man like that.
What can you tell us about him, Mr. Hobbs?
Not much. Bought quite a bit of merchandise. What did you want to know?
Could you give us his name?
I'm afraid not.
How about receipts? Anything like that?
No, sir. It was a cash sale. There was no reason to take his name.
Uh-huh.
Can you give us any information on him at all?
Maybe if you could tell me what this is all about, I could help you out.
Well, it's a police matter, Mr. Hobbs.
You must understand, Sergeant, I want to do what I can, but it's rather difficult without knowing exactly what it is you're after.
Well, we want to find the man. Any information you have that'll help us do that will be appreciated.
I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you.
Well, how about the things he bought?
You want the complete list?
Yeah, how much did he buy?
I'll have to look it up. Just a minute.
All right, sir.
Keep a record of your sales, do you?
Yeah, I have to for tax purposes. Just a minute.
Uh-huh.
I'm not certain of the date. Take a minute to find.
All right, sir. Take your time.
Let's see. Yeah. Here it is. Bought a gold tie bar, set of cufflinks, and a wristwatch.
Can you give us the description of the goods?
Plain gold tie bar, square ends. Cufflinks were plain, sort of square design, no relief work.
How about the watch?
A Patek Philippe, solid gold.
Anything about the watch that would make it easier to identify?
No.
You got a record of the case and movement number?
Mm-hmm. You want that?
Oh, might help.
Yeah, I can get it for you.
All right, fine. How'd he pay for this merchandise?
In cash.
Yes, sir, but what about the denominations of the bills? Would you remember what they were?
I'm sorry, Sergeant, I can't help you there. It was a while ago, and I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything at all about the man that might help us identify him? An accent, maybe? Way walk, way dress?
No. He was well-dressed, conservative. Well, except the tie. That was rather jarring.
What's that?
He had on a dark flannel suit, button-down collar, black shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything went together except the tie. It was bright red.
Mm-hmm. What about his speech? Was there anything there?
Not that I remember.
Nothing else about it?
No, sir.
Well, all right, Mr. Hobbs. I'm going to leave one of our cards with you. If you think of anything else, we'd appreciate a call.
Mm-hmm. As for you, Mr. Friday?
Well, either me or Frank Smith here.
All right. If I think of anything.
If you'll get the numbers on the watch for us, please.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot. Say, there is something.
Yes, sir?
When he bought the new watch, he was wearing one.
Uh-huh.
Asked me if I'd give him anything for it. Wanted to trade it in.
Yeah.
I told him it wasn't worth anything to me. Suggested he try to sell it to a second-hand store.
Yeah.
He said he'd seen the last of hock shops. Said if I didn't want to buy the watch, he'd make me a gift of it.
Well, did you take it?
He left it here.
You still have it?
I think it's still in the back. I got a box of old parts. His watch might be in there.
Wonder if you'd mind checking that, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. Let's see if I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I don't know. Might be something.
Well, we're due for a break.
Yeah.
We're going to tag the office after this?
Yeah, I guess so. You going to go home for dinner?
No, not tonight. Fay's got the girls from the bridge club coming over. I thought I'd go by Alan Lum's, get some shrimp and lobster. You want to go with me?
Where?
Alan Lum's.
Oh, yeah.
Good lobster club.
Sure, I'll go with you.
In here. It is. Watch is in here now, someplace.
What kind of a watch is it, sir?
Off-brand. Should be here someplace.
But this one here. Broken, huh?
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Why?
Oh, nothing special. Kind of nice looking. Thought if it worked, we might be able to make a deal.
If I sold you that one, I'd be in jail tomorrow, sure. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here. Here it is.
This is it?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, is there anything about the watch that would make it possible to tell where it was bought?
No, sir. It's a cheap brand. Most of the drugstores in town carry them.
Uh-huh. What if you mind if we take it with us? We'll give you a receipt.
That won't be necessary. I trust you.
You appreciate it, Mr. Hobbs. We'd better give you a receipt.
Well, all right. I'll get the book. Oh, I just thought of something. Might not work, but it's worth a try.
Yes, sir. What's that?
Just a minute. Yeah, he did.
Sir?
He had the watch repaired at one time or another. You see here?
Let me see. No, I don't believe I see what you mean.
Well, here. See the initials there and the numbers?
It's RJ 10567, is that it?
Yeah. That's the initials of a watch repairman who worked on the watch. That should make it pretty simple, shouldn't it?
Yes, sir. It'll help.
Yeah, simple. All you have to do is find RJ and get the name of the man who had work number 10567. He should be able to give you the name of the man you're looking for. Oh, it's simple.
Yes, it's not quite that easy, but it's a place to start. We left the jeweler and we went back to the office. We checked the phone book for a watch repairman with the possible initials of R.J. Frank got on one phone and I got on another. There was a long chance that the watch had been bought and serviced in Los Angeles. We went through the watch repair companies with the initials we were looking for, and then we started at the top of the list of jewelry concerns. I see.
That's right, sir. Well,
Oh,
thank
no,
you very
that's
much.
all the information we have.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you any more than that. Right, bye.
I got nothing.
Well, we better get on it or we're going to have to wait until tomorrow. 5:20. Most of the place is closed in a few minutes, so let's stay with it.
Yeah. It's getting so I can't see the numbers on this dial anymore.
This is Sergeant Friday, Los Angeles Police Department.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Officer Frank Smith.
No, there's nothing
Los Angeles
wrong.
Police Department.
We have a watch repairman who uses
What
the
if you
initials
give me some
RJ.
information?
No, that's RJ.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Do you have a watch repairman who
I
uses
see.
the initials R.J.?
No, sir. No, we're looking for
R for
information.
Robert,
that's
J
all.
as in James. Mm-hmm. We'd like to
Nothing
talk
at all.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you.
I'll wait.
Bye.
Thank you. I'll hang on.
Nothing here. I don't know. Maybe we got a dead end.
Yeah. She's gone to look here. I see. Mm-hmm. What's that? Uh-huh.
Hello, this is Sergeant
Wait just a
Friday,
minute,
Los
will you?
Angeles Police
Hey, hold it,
Department.
Joe. I got one.
Just a minute, please. Would you hold on?
Yeah,
a
that's
minute,
right.
What'd
This
you
is
say?
Frank Smith. Hang on a minute, I got one. This is Frank Smith, robbery detail? Uh-huh. Can you tell me who gave you the work number? Uh-huh. No, can you tell me who you gave the work number 10567 to? That's right. 10567. Yes, sir, I'll hang on. Got a guy now, he's checking it.
Does it look good?
Well, might be. Place down on 5th. West 5th.
Well, I'll let this one go for a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, sir.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right,
that's
sir.
right. Well, I'll call you back.
567.
No, it's nothing important,
Who?
sir. Well, I may call back. I mean.
Do you have an address for him?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I see. Do you remember him at all? Mm-hmm. Well, thanks very much. We'll get in touch with you. Well, according to this guy, the watch was brought in by Mike Langley.
Well, maybe we know who we're looking for now.
Well, there's another problem, though.
Yeah.
There's no address on Langley.
We checked the name Langley through R&I, but without any description to work with, there was little chance that we'd find anything. We checked the description on the arrest reports against that of our suspect, and we ruled out all the possibles that we came up with. We checked the name in the phone book, but we found no listing. We checked the city directory without result. 6:15 p.m. We got in touch with the utility companies and asked them to check their records. They told us they'd call us back by the next morning with the information. Wednesday, February 18th, 9:12 a.m. Frank and I were in the squad room. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. 2647 Gilbert. That's G as in George, I-L-B-E-R-T. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Well, how long have they had that service? Uh-huh. Right, you betcha. Thanks very much. Friday. Yes, right. Thanks very much.
They came up with it, huh?
Yeah, looks real good here. Service started on Friday, January 16th.
Yeah.
2 days before the robbery. (9:52 a.m.) We made another check at R&I, and then we left the office. We drove out the Hollywood Freeway, turned off at Vermont, and drove over to Gilbert. 2647 was the last unit in the Spanish-style court. Frank covered the back of the place, and I went up and rang the doorbell. The door was opened by a woman in her late 20s. She identified herself as Mrs. Pearl Langley. We asked about her husband. She told us he was at work. Frank and I got the address and drove over to the place. Mike Langley was a fry cook in a small restaurant on Spring Street. We took him back into the manager's office, and we talked to him. He matched the description of the suspect very close.
You're way off base.
Well, maybe you can tell us where you were on Saturday, January 17th, huh?
Sure, I was home helping Pearl. We just moved into a new place the day before. I was giving her a hand getting things straightened out.
What about Sunday, the 18th?
I worked.
Here?
It's the only job I've got.
What about Monday the 19th?
Same deal.
You were here.
That's right.
What time do you come to work?
I get in about 6:30, line things up in the kitchen. We open at 7:30.
You're pretty sure where you were on the 19th.
Positive.
Any special reason you're so sure?
What do you mean?
Well, any reason you'd remember you were working on that day?
Nothing besides I haven't missed a day since I took the job.
When was that?
About a year and a half ago. You'd have to check with the boss.
He'd have a record of what days you were here, huh?
That old skinflint, he's got a note on every minute I was in the kitchen. Probably tell you how many eggs I fried since I've been cooking for him.
You want to check on that, Frank?
Yeah.
I want you to look at something here, Langley, and tell me if you know who it belongs to.
Sure, what do you got?
Right here.
It's a cheap watch. It isn't mine.
You ever seen it?
I don't think so.
You ever been arrested?
Why you ask that?
Have you?
No.
Never been in trouble with the police?
Not in California.
Where?
Texas.
Where in Texas?
Galveston.
What was the beef?
Drunk driving and nailed me on the boulevard.
What'd you draw?
Paid a fine, did 10 days.
That's the only trouble you've ever had with the police?
That's it.
You're sure about this watch?
Yeah.
Never saw it before?
No.
No. Yeah. Be right back, Langley.
I'd appreciate it if you could step it up. The boss is going to start docking me if I'm off much more.
Yeah. What do you got?
I checked with the owner. Looks like we're far out on this thing.
Huh?
Langley was working all day the 19th.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We contacted the authorities in Galveston and talked with officers Rex Torian and Reuben Guzman. They told us that Mike Langley had been arrested for drunk driving. They went on to say that he'd lived in the beach city for several years and that until his arrest he had never been in trouble. We brought him down to the city hall and we talked to him further. The victims of the holdup were asked to a special show-up, but although they said Langley looked quite a bit like the stick-up man, they couldn't give us a positive identification. He was released from custody. On Thursday, February 19th, we got a call from him asking us to come out to his home. Frank and I left the office and drove to the Gilbert Street address. We met Langley and his wife.
You met my wife, Pearl, didn't you?
Yes, sir, we
Yeah.
We met yesterday.
Now, what'd you want to see us about, Langley?
Sit down.
Can I get you anything? A cup of coffee, something?
No, thank you, man.
I hate to bring you guys out here, but I want to get this thing cleared up.
Yes, sir, we do, too.
You got that watch with you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here you are. Oh, thanks. Now, I got to thinking about it last night, about why you think it was mine.
Yes, sir.
I guess it didn't make much of an impression on me at the time, but I remembered it.
Yeah?
I figured out how you got my name on it.
Yes, sir.
I did take the watch in to be fixed. It isn't mine, but I did have it fixed.
Well, who does it belong to?
My cousin, Herbert Langley. He got in some trouble, and when he was at Quentin, he sent the watch out to me to have it fixed. I guess I must have forgotten all about it.
You know where he is now?
He was staying here with us.
How long ago, ma'am?
He got here the day after we moved into the house.
That'd be Sunday.
Yeah. I remember because Mike and me were trying to get the place straightened out, and Herb didn't do anything but sit around and guzzle beer. Didn't look to hand to help.
Is he here now?
You mean staying here?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he moved out about a week ago.
Did he tell you where he was going?
No, just said he was tired of being a fifth wheel and left.
Him and Pearl didn't get along too good.
We sure didn't. One thing I don't go is a man that doesn't work. Laying around the house all day or else down at some bar, drinking all day.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what he was in jail for?
Herb kept telling us it was a bad beat. They didn't have anything to do with it.
What was the charge, do you know?
Robbery.
Where was that?
Up north, was it San Rafael, wasn't it, honey?
A real bum.
Wish you wouldn't say that, Pearl.
Why not? It's true.
You just didn't understand him.
No, and I didn't want to. I don't like him. I never did. All the time laying around, giving orders, wanted to be waited on, hand and foot. Always asking for something. Him and that lousy coffee. That was the end when he started asking for that Irish coffee.
What do you mean?
Coffee, Irish whiskey, and whipped cream. Something he heard about someplace.
Do you know where he is now?
No.
How about you, sir?
Well, I haven't got the address, but he did say something about going back to see Mother.
Where would that be?
Texas. He wasn't sure. He just said he was thinking about it, though.
Uh-huh. Did he say when he was coming back?
No. Him and Pearl had a beef before he left.
Yeah.
Packed the bag, said he'd never be back.
We got a complete description of Herbert Langley and a snapshot of him. Frank and I went back to the office and put in a call to Fred Galloway in the Adult Authority office. He contacted Sacramento and got Langley's prison number. We checked the coming-out mug books and got a good picture of the suspect. This was shown to the victims, and they identified him positively as the hold-up man. A local and an APB were gotten out on him, and a radiogram was sent to the authorities in Galveston, Texas, asking them to check on the suspect. We got a list of his known friends and other relatives. These were interviewed, but they were unable to give us any further leads on Langley's whereabouts. A week went by. On Friday, February 27th, Frank and I got back into the office from the main jail.
Think he's telling the truth?
Yeah, well, if he is, it's the first time. He hasn't had an honest job in the last 6 years. Better check the book, huh?
Yeah.
Robbery, Stewart. Yeah, just a minute. Joe, take 1.
Thanks, Stu. 1?
1.
Miss Friday. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. Well, no, he won't hear it from us. Yeah. Well, how long ago was that? Yeah. All right, no, we'll check it out. Thanks for calling us. Right? Bye.
Nothing in the book.
It was Pearl Langley on the phone.
Yeah?
She just got a message from the suspect.
Yeah?
He's in town. Frank and I, along with Stewart, Creasy, Stromwell, and Stoner, checked out of the office and went over to the bar on Winona Street. Mrs. Langley had told me on the phone that her brother-in-law had sent a telegram to the house asking that her husband meet him there after work. When we got to the place, the suspect wasn't there. Stewart and Creasy covered the front of the bar while Stromwell and Stoner staked out on the alley at the back of the place. Frank and I went inside and talked to the bartender, Van Gordon.
Hi, Joe. Frank.
Van?
How's it going?
You seen the fellow Nick that you told us about?
No, not since I talked to you. If you'd been in, I'd sure given you a call. Why?
Well, we got word he's in town. Supposed to show up here.
How heavy is he?
Well, we don't know for sure.
You found out who he is yet?
Yeah. We made him for a Herbert Langley.
You got him for the market job?
Victim say he's the man, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, when did he say he was going to be here?
Oh, the way we got it, sometime this afternoon.
Say you're going to take him here?
Then try.
Well, do me a favor, will you?
Try to. What's that?
Well, if there's a beef, will you try and steer him outside before it gets spat out? I don't want the place broken up.
We'll do what we can.
You get you anything while you're waiting?
How about some coffee?
Yeah, I think there's some left. I don't know how good it is.
Well, as long as it's hot and black.
I'll get a couple of cups. You want to drink it here at the bar?
No, we'll take it in one of the booths.
Okay. Hey, you'll remember, huh?
What's that?
I'll try to steer him outside.
Yeah, Van. Frank and I sat down in the booth and we waited. 2:30 p.m. 3. No sign of Langley. 3:30. Several people came in and sat down at the bar. The bartender tried to get him out of the place as soon as he could. In the event there was any trouble, we didn't want anyone to get hurt. 4 o'clock. 4:15.
Hi, Van. How's it going? Oh, pretty good, Nick. Where you been? Oh, took a couple of weeks out of town. Had some business to do.
Uh-huh. How'd it be?
Irish coffee, huh?
Yeah.
Put some whipped cream on it this time.
Sure.
All right, Tim, let's go.
Yeah.
You ever been up through Washington, Van?
No.
You should try to make the trip sometime. Sure beautiful. Got something you want?
Herb Langley?
Who's asking?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
All right.
Stand up.
What's the charge?
Robbery. Now stand still.
I'll shake him, Joe.
Get him outside. I'll steer him outside. Don't break up the place.
Get out of here. Come on, get out of here.
All right, come on. Get him. Want a cup?
Yeah. Oh, look at this place. Just look at it. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to open it up again.
Oh, we're sorry about it, Van.
Oh, this isn't going to do much good where the place is smashed up. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to make it right?
I wouldn't know.
See, I asked you to steer him outside. Steer him outside.
Well, he didn't give us much choice.
Huh?
This is the way he wanted it.
Nice to say, but who's going to pay for it?
Well, it wouldn't do much good if I told you.
Huh?
He's got another bill to pay first.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On July 13th, trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Herbert Colby Langley was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 1 count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You get a call to investigate unknown trouble. The caller gives no indication of what's wrong. Your job, check it out.
It was Saturday, July 18th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch on a homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from questioning a suspect, and it was 10:56 a.m. when I got back to our car. Unit 1K80.
Did you get me a pack, too?
Yeah, here you are.
Thanks. Say, Joe. Wonder if you'd do me a favor.
I just did. I bought you a pack of cigarettes.
No, something else.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about taking a sergeant's exam. See if I can crack it this time.
Yeah.
I figure I got about 6 months before they're going to hold him again. Gives me plenty of time to get ready.
It's a lot of work. You're going to have to really hustle the books, you know.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Faye about it last night. Got it all squared away. The in-laws aren't going to come out this year. That's what loused me up last year.
It is, huh?
Sure, Joe. You know our house. We had army cops all over the place, kids running around screaming. Nobody can study like that.
You going to be able to work out the classes?
Well, I'm going to have to. I can sure use the extra money. Faye and me'd like to do some work on the house. About the only way we can do it until I make sergeant.
What do you want me to do?
Well, I wondered if you kind of help me out along the way. You made it. Tell me what to do and what to watch out for.
Well, I'll do what I can for you, but there isn't anybody who can make it for you besides yourself, you know.
Yeah, I know that, but as long as you're in my corner, old buddy.
I'll be in your corner.
Attention all units.
You better get there.
Yeah.
All units. At 5291 La Miranda Street. Investigate unknown trouble. That's at 5291 La Miranda Street. Investigate unknown trouble. Car 11F93, take the call. Code 3, KMA 367.
This is Miranda now, isn't it here?
Yeah, 6100 block. We must just pass the place.
I didn't see anything, did you?
Me either.
Code 3, it's important. Make it you and we'll go back and check it out.
Right. It should be up here on the right.
5800, a couple of blocks up there. Take it easy. You should be in here.
Yeah. Doesn't look like there's any trouble.
Think this is it? You want to pull up?
Yeah. At the back of the court. 5291. There's nothing going on.
Yeah. Well, maybe I better verify that address, huh?
Yeah.
1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80. Go ahead.
Would you repeat the address on the call to La Miranda Street?
Stand by, 1K80.
See anything?
No. Well, it's probably some kids having a time.
Yeah.
Control 1 to 1K80. That address is 5291 La Miranda. 5291 La Miranda.
Roger, Control 1. 1K80, code 6 at that address. KMA 367. Well, this is it. We better check it out, huh?
All right. Well, there's nothing wrong here.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
There's somebody back there, Joe. See him at the window?
Get down, Frank.
How about it?
I don't know. One thing's sure.
Yeah?
They didn't send for us. The 5 units of the court were arranged in the shape of a U. 5291 was the building at the far end. In the center, running between the 2 wings, was a grass area. Large palm trees were growing at either end, and there was a wrought iron table and 4 chairs in the center of the area. From what we could see of the building the shot had come from, the only door was the one facing us. Frank and I ducked over to the left side of the court to the unit occupied by the manager. We waited on the porch until the felony car that had been assigned to the call arrived. While the officers from the unit covered the house, Frank and I went to the manager's place and talked to him. He identified himself as Marshal Rice. He appeared to be nervous and upset.
I don't know why it should be so tough. You get him out of there. That's all I care about. Just get him out.
What'd you say the man's name was?
Dudley Gray.
You the one who called the police?
Yeah, I called him right after he took the first shot. I wasn't going to wait around for no repeat performance.
You have any idea why he's doing this?
Only one that makes any sense.
What's that?
He's wigged.
Sir?
Flipville. He's gone straight up.
Did you talk to him this morning?
Yeah, went back there about 8:30. Wanted to get some things straightened out. Then had a cup of coffee with him and Charlotte.
Who's Charlotte?
His wife. Real doll. She sure don't deserve to come up with a flip like him.
How'd he seem then?
You mean when I talked to him?
That's right.
All right, I didn't notice anything. If I had, I'd have called you then instead of waiting for this to happen.
And what'd you talk about?
Well, different things. We've been planning on doing a little remodeling, painting papers.
Yeah.
Dudley's been helping me. Lost his job a couple of months ago. Since then, he's just been sitting around watching the TV. Not doing liquor work. So I asked him to give me a hand with the redecorating. Guy's already 6 weeks behind in his rent. Just goes to show. Well, you try to be nice to a guy, try to give him a hand. What happens? He kicks you. He's no good. He's no good at all. You'll find out when he comes out. You'll see then.
How long have they lived here?
It's been a couple of years. You need the exact date they moved in?
No, sir, not right now. You ever had any trouble with them before this?
Nothing like this, that's for sure.
But you have had trouble, huh?
Well, sure. Just try to live together and not have a little beef now and then.
What were the disagreements about?
Different things. Sounds kind of silly when you talk about him.
Well, it might help us get him out if we knew what caused this.
Well, like he likes one baseball team, I like another. He don't like to fish, I don't like to hunt. Things like that. Lay him out in the sun, they just dry right up. Silly little thing.
Anything else?
Well, I guess I might as well tell you. You'll find out anyway.
What's that?
Oh, Dudley thought there was something between Charlotte and me. Of course, there wasn't, but you just couldn't convince him he was off base. Wasn't anything could convince him.
He said something about that this morning, did he?
Yeah, we were just sitting there talking about how he ought to help me out with a painting. Charlotte said he should. All of a sudden, he got this kind of wild look in his eye. Told me he knew all about me and his wife. Said I wasn't fooling anybody. Well, we just sat there. Didn't know what to think. Picked up his coffee cup and flung it across the room. Smashed it against the wall. Coffee all over the place. Streaming down the walls. Ruined the paint. Told me to get out of the house and to leave Charlotte alone. Said if he ever saw me talking to her again, he'd make me sorry I did.
Well, what about his family now? Are they in the house?
I'm pretty sure they ain't. Charlotte took the kids and left right after I did. I saw them walk out.
You know where they went?
Well, I can't help you there.
Do you have any people or friends in the neighborhood here?
Not that I ever heard. Got a sister down in National City, but I don't think she went there.
Why say that?
She didn't have no grips. She'd have gone there. She'd have taken clothes for the kids. Didn't have no grips when she left. Pretty sure she didn't go to National City.
But you don't know where we can find her, huh?
Not the least. Might have gone to a show till Dudley calms down. How do you figure to get him to come out?
Well, we'll try to talk to him first, reason with him.
That ain't going to do it. He hasn't got any reason left to do a thing like this.
Well, we got to try.
You're going to have to kill him. You just wait and see. That's the only way you're going to get him out. Shoot the house full of holes and hope he gets in the middle. That's the only way.
We hope so.
You'll see. Something else you ought to know.
Yeah, what's that?
That gun he's got, the .22 rifle?
Yeah.
He's got a real thing about guns. Big collection. Rifles, pistols, automatics, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they all work.
We got a description of Dudley Gray, and we called it into R&I. We found that he had no record in our files. We got in touch with Captain Lorman and filled him in. We requested that additional teams of men be dispatched with tear gas equipment and shotguns. The men from the felony unit covered the back of the house, while Frank and I covered the front. All of the other tenants of the court were instructed to stay indoors. 11:14 a.m. With Frank standing by, I went up to the porch to try and talk to Gray. Gray? Gray, I want to talk to you.
I got nothing to say to you.
Why don't you put the gun down and come on out here?
You try to take this place, I'll kill you all.
No reason for that.
I know who you are. You don't have to try to kid me. I know you.
The police officers, Gray. We want to help you.
Yeah, you don't have to lie. You just want me to open the gates and let you and the rest of them in here. Well, you go back and tell the chief I won't do it.
All right, come on out here, Gray. Put the gun down. Let's talk it over.
I'm telling you, I got nothing to say. Come sneaking around here trying to get me to let you in. As soon as you're inside, you burn the place down, run off all the horses.
Run off what?
Yeah, I shoot the KG-1. Well, it won't work. Told you, I know who you are. You go tell the chief that it didn't work. Not one Indian's getting in here, not one. I'm going to defend this fort till the cavalry gets here. They'll show you. Division on the way right now.
Gray, come on out here. We're on your side. We want to help you.
That's a lie. You got different clothes on, but I still recognize you. You were scouting around here last week, I remember. Now you get out of here.
Come on, Gray. Give us a break. Let's talk it over.
No.
Right with you. What about it? I don't know. He thinks he's in a fort. Told me he thought I was an Indian. You heard him. Yeah, I heard. From what the landlord says, he can hold out in there as long as he wants. Yeah. Maybe if we could find his wife, we might be able to come up with the answer. All right, I'll check with the rest of the neighbors, see if they can tell us anything. Yeah, I'll go on back and try to talk to him. Wait a minute. Take it easy, Joe. He sounds pretty sick. Yeah. Check the boys in the back, will you, and see if there's any way of getting to him from there? Right.
I see you out there. I see you. Now, don't try anything. I'm ready for you.
Sure you are, Gray. We couldn't put anything over on you.
You bet you can. I'm too smart for you.
How long do you think it'll be before the cavalry gets here, Gray?
Should ride in a couple of days. Left Tucson day before yesterday. Should be here day after tomorrow.
Sure going to fix up the Indians then, won't you, Gray?
Yeah, gonna make them sorry they ever tried this.
Gray, how about letting us fight on your side? We'd sure like to be with you.
You mean that?
Sure, we'd like to be with a smart fellow like you.
Not kidding.
No.
Not gonna know if I can trust you.
Well, you can. I couldn't do anything that'd hurt you.
No, I suppose not. Okay, come on in. I can use somebody to watch if the Indians start using fire arrows. Come on in. Okay, I'll keep you covered. As soon as you get here, I'll take the bar off the gate.
All right.
Now, hurry up. Them Indians see you. They'll be all in here.
Want to open the gate?
Wait till you get a little closer. Can't take any chances.
Almost there, Gray. You better open the door.
Get just a little closer. Thought you were going to fool me. Well, it didn't work, did it? Didn't work. You found out it didn't work.
When Gray fired at me, I dropped to the ground while Frank and the other officers returned the fire, driving the man away from the window. 11:47 a.m., the additional men arrived from the office with tear gas equipment. It was distributed, and we worked out a plan to take Gray. It was decided that 2 men would cover the right side of the house while another team covered the back. Frank and I would go around to the left side and fire tear gas shells into the building until Gray had to leave. 11:58 a.m. All of the officers were in position, and Frank and I started to move in to use the tear gas guns.
All right. That's enough of that. Just get out of there.
Other building, Johnny. I see her.
Just get out of that yard. Go on now, out.
Would you get back in the house, please? We don't want to get hurt here.
Then you just better get right out of my azaleas. You knock down one more bush and you're in trouble.
You don't understand, ma'am. There's a man in that house and he's got a gun.
I don't care about Mr. Gray. What he does is his own business. I'm just telling you to get out of my flowers. All year I've been worrying over it, trying to coax a blossom out of them. Now you come around here with your big feet and ruin it all.
We're sorry about that, but we have to get Gray out of that house.
Then do it without stepping all over my flowers. You're a cop. You're supposed to know how to handle things like this. And look what you've done to my tuberous begonias. 3 months I've been working with them. Just put them out last week, and now look, they're all broken. You just ought to be ashamed of yourself, big men like you doing a thing like this to my flowers. Ashamed.
Look, ma'am, if we hurt your flowers, we're sorry.
As you did.
Think you better get inside now, lady?
Are you telling me what to do?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a direct order.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll go, but you just remember, you ordered me to go. You're going to hear about this young man. What's your number?
Beg your pardon?
What's the number on your badge? I intend to report you for this. You'll find out. Poor tuberous begonias. You'll find out. Now, what's your number?
Frank, you want to handle it? Yeah. Come on, ma'am. We can talk right over here.
Oh, you don't think you can soft-soap me out of it. I'm going to cause a lot of trouble, a lot of it. Nothing you can do to stop me.
If you'll just go on inside, well, I'll talk to you later.
All right, but I'll be watching you. I'll be right here watching you.
Well, there's one for you. Yeah, well, let's get on this. Right. Think we'll need the mask? Well, we shouldn't out here. How's it look out front? It's all right. Galindo and LaMonica are out there. Yeah. Whenever you're ready. That should bring them out. I'll get another one ready. Better hold it up. Here comes McCready. Right.
Hey, hold it up, Joe.
What do you got, Jack?
Just found out.
Yeah?
Gray's wife and kids are in there with him.
Sergeant Jack McCready was standing by in the manager's office when Mrs. Gray had telephoned from the house. With the possibility that innocent people might be hit, we were unable to fire into the home. We met with Captain Warman and discussed the methods we could use to get the woman and children out of the place. We worked out a plan. It would depend entirely on being able to talk to Mrs. Gray and explain what we were trying to do. Frank and I went to the manager's place and put in a call to the house. How about it? It's just starting to ring. Figure it'll work? I don't know. The only way we can make it go is to talk to the woman, explain the setup to her. Did you get in touch with the office about the doctor? Yeah. They're sending a psychiatrist out. He might be able to talk to Gray. I hope so. Anything? No. Looks like we're in trouble. Yeah. She won't answer the phone.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Without being able to talk to the woman, there was little chance that the plan for getting her and the children out of the house would work. 1:14 p.m. A large crowd of people had gathered on the street in front of the court. Additional policemen from Metro Division had to be called in to control them. From time to time, Dudley Gray would scream something at the bystanders and fire into the crowd. So far, we'd been able to keep the curious citizens back far enough so that none of them were hurt, but it was only a matter of time before our luck ran out. Meanwhile, we were still faced with the problem of first getting the wife and children out of the house before we could attempt to take the man himself. 1:29 p.m. While Frank and Sergeant Jack McCready went around to the back of the house to ascertain the possibility of removing the family from that side, I again attempted to talk to Gray. Gray? Gray? Come on, Gray, we want to talk to you.
I thought I killed you, Indian.
Come on, Gray. We're police officers. We're trying to help you if you'll give us the chance.
You expect me to believe that?
The truth.
Well, that's what you say. I'll give you something.
What's that?
You better get out of here and take your friends with you. As soon as the cavalry gets here, you're all going to be in trouble.
Now, come on, Gray. There isn't any cavalry. You're in Los Angeles. You're sick, Gray. We want to help you if you'll give us the chance.
I don't need nothing from you.
What about your wife and kids? You going to have them hurt?
They're all right. Nothing's going to get to them. They're all right.
They aren't going to stay that way with you shooting that gun.
Well, you let me worry about it. They're my family. No concern of yours. They're mine.
And you're going to have them killed, are you?
Well, that's a lie. Why do you think I'm doing all this? It's for them, so they can get out of here. I don't want a bunch of Indians swarming all over the place. It's for them I'm doing this.
It's kind of hard to buy, Gray. It's hard to see what you're trying to protect them from.
What do you think you are to tell me that? Don't you think I know what's going on? All the time sitting in here looking at you people trying to take things away from me. You don't think I know what's going on, huh? Well, you just save your breath. Save everything. I know what's right. I know it, and I'm doing it.
Tell you what, we'll make a deal with you, Gray.
What kind of deal can you make?
Let your wife and kids come out and let us take care of them. Give us a chance to prove that we're on your side.
You can't catch me with that one again. You tried once before, and it didn't work, remember? You tried once before.
We didn't cause you any trouble.
I don't believe anything you say. Might as well save your breath. All you Indians are tricky. You're not fooling me.
What about all the people out there in the street?
Well, what about it?
You want to hurt them, too?
Be real honest with you. One you got coming, but I'll be honest.
All right.
I don't much care. They're dumb enough to get caught in the middle of an Indian war. It's their tough luck.
You've come close to shooting a couple of them, you know.
Now tell them to go back to their homes. Leave the fighting to the men.
Come on, Greg. Let's get together and talk things over out here. What do you say?
Nothing doing. You get me out of the fort and you'll try something. I'm not falling for that. What? Now, what are you trying to do?
I don't know what you're talking about, Greg.
Don't try that with me. You're trying to break into the back of the place. Well, it won't work. I'll take care of you all. Joe, get out of there.
All right. How about it? We're getting the gas equipment ready now. Yeah. We've got his family out. While I'd kept Gray busy in front of the house, Frank and Jack McCready had gone around to the rear. They'd found the room where Mrs. Gray and the children were hiding. By breaking a window, they'd been able to remove them from the house. The children were taken to one of the neighbors, and Mrs. Gray was waiting for me in the manager's place. Outside, the members of homicide detail were making preparations to get Dudley Gray out of the house.
Thank God you got us out of there. I don't know how to tell you.
It's all right now, Miss Gray.
The children were out there.
They're next door. Don't worry about it.
What about Dudley? What are you going to do about him?
Well, we're trying to get him to come out of the house.
Going to have to shoot him?
Well, that depends on how he wants it.
Oh, he's sick, Sergeant. You know that. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Sure, we know it, but your husband's in there taking pot shots at anybody who comes near him. Only a matter of time before somebody gets so close he can't miss.
Isn't there some way to get him to give up? You're a policeman. There's been things like this before. It seems like it'd be your job to get him out without hurting him.
Well, we're trying. What caused this to happen?
A lot of things, Sergeant.
Well, Miss Gray, if we knew what's wrong with him, it might help. Could you give us some kind of an angle on it?
I don't know how long it's been building. Maybe a year, maybe longer. It's hard to say. You try to take care of the family, keep it together. Sometimes you don't see the signs.
Yes, ma'am.
It might be my fault. I guess it is. Just all of a sudden things got too heavy for him to carry. He lost his job. We couldn't pay the bills. Got so I wouldn't answer the phone because I knew it was somebody wanting their money.
Try to take it easy, Miss Gray.
He didn't have any way to get the pressure off. No way at all. Finally got him.
All right, go ahead.
You sure the children are all right? They're being taken care of?
Yes, ma'am, they're fine.
Are they having lunch? I couldn't fix them anything. They haven't eaten since this morning.
I'm sure they'll be fed.
Alice is kind of picky with her food, needs coaxing to eat.
They'll be all right, Miss Gray. Now, would you go on, please?
Well, it finally broke this morning. Once it started, there wasn't anything we could do. Marshall came over.
That's the manager?
Yes, he came over to ask Dudley if he'd help with the painting. Mentioned that it'd be a way to pay some of the back rent. Didn't mean anything. Dudley just took it the wrong way.
What's that?
Marshall told him about the rent. I said it was nice of him to give Dudley the chance to make it up. I didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
Dudley got up from the table and went into the living room and turned on the television. Didn't say a word to me, just got up and walked out.
Uh-huh.
Sat there watching a picture, one of those cowboy things. Just sat there and watched it.
Yeah.
Kids went in and tried to talk to him, so did I. Tried to bring him out of it. He didn't even know we were in the room, just sat there and looked at the picture.
Has your husband ever been under the care of a doctor?
You mean for his mind?
That's right.
No, I was afraid to ask him. I should have, but it just seemed that it'd mean another bill. That was causing all the trouble anyway. I told you I was trying to believe that it wasn't anything serious, that it'd go away.
Yeah.
It's been better to have the bill. Anyway, he sat there for a while, then he just got up and walked to the closet, picked up the rifle, and told me and the kids to get into the back bedroom. Said that they weren't going to take the place.
Did you know what he meant?
Well, no, not at first. I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know it'd be as bad as this.
Is there anybody your husband's particularly fond of?
Well, we've been married for 8 years, Sergeant. I guess I could qualify
That's
that.
what I mean, ma'am. Is there anyone that he'd listen to, a friend, maybe a minister or a priest?
No, any friends he had have gone. They didn't understand his moods. There isn't anybody.
All right, Miss Gray.
Joe, see you, man?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ran out of time.
Huh?
Gray just shot a cop.
The officer was not seriously wounded. He was removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital for treatment. People in the adjoining units were evacuated. The streets were cleared as much as possible, and the men were in position to move in. Frank, Jack McCready, and I were opposite the front door of the house. From Mrs. Gray, we learned that her husband had several hundred rounds of ammunition for the rifle that he was using. In addition to this, he had several handguns and ample shells for them. She told us that the other guns were located in the closet in the rear of the place. It was decided to pour tear gas into the back windows and try to keep Gray away from the other guns. Frank was armed with a sawed-off shotgun loaded with double-arc butts. McCready had a .45 caliber machine gun. The officers were in position and the signal was given.
There go the gas guns.
Yeah. He should be coming out pretty quick. Hope we can take him without killing him. We'll try.
Gas is starting to come through the front windows.
Go ahead. I quit.
All right, throw the gun out, Gray. Throw the gun out.
I won't do it.
Come on, throw that gun out.
He's down.
Come on. You still got the gun. Is he dead? No. You better get an ambulance. I'll take care of it.
Is he dead? Did you kill him?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Dudley. I should have known. I should have seen.
He's going to be all right, Mrs. Gray. The doctor's on the way.
He's sick. He didn't know what he was doing. That's all. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yes, ma'am.
He knows we love him. That's all that counts. We love him and want to take care of him. He didn't think anybody cared for him. That's what was wrong. He just didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe when he gets well, he'll know everybody wasn't against him. You'll know people care. Don't you think that's all that's wrong?
I wouldn't know, ma'am, but he took the hard way to find out.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On August 26th, a preliminary hearing was held in the prison ward of the county hospital in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. Dudley Peter Gray was held to answer charges of assault with intent to commit murder. He was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and found to be insane. He was confined to the state mental hospital at Camarillo for treatment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.